This season is bubbling up.
Team Flash and BlackArts coming to blows now.
Mohammed Ibrahim being called out by Josh Perwin.
The stewards reviewed the footage and decided to give him penalties in not just race 1, but in race 2 as well.
As we approached the corner, I went to the right of him on the inside, and then he moved over a little bit. It was still enough to put me off because he suddenly moved in front of me, and then because of that, kind of ruined any chance I had of getting the win.
At the start of race 2, I was heading to turn 1, and I could see this flash car in my mirrors basically forget to brake. And when I went wide, I gave him the space and still managed to drive straight through and hit my car.
Josh Perwin is a driver that we commonly refer to as the iRacing master.
He does well at the mystery circuit.
Will you be able to be doing it again tonight in the mystery circuit?
To be honest, I think Ibrahim has a clear pace advantage, but I think I've got an advantage basically everywhere else.
Bannister finished 3rd in the first race, but he finished 13th in the second.
Having a bit of bad luck, but apart from that, it's been pretty good.
So Mikko Nasi's been a driver that I've constantly been trying to hype up. I know how good he is in real life.
Love his work, love his attitude, love what he brings to the game.
After round 5, with all of the penalty points applied, Mikko Nasi eventually inherited his first win of the season.
My own performance has been a little bit up and down occasionally. Managed to now win around in each of the championships. Hopefully a few more wins this season as well.
We're heading to another mystery circuit.
Alex, I haven't got a clue. He's probably going to get them riding bicycles.
This mystery track is going to be different from Charlotte.
We've got 3 rounds to go.
Then after that will be Monza, where we have the Lotus 49 debuting for the first time. We'll end the season at Silverstone, another classic circuit.
Our plan for the next 3 rounds is to try and just be as fast as possible, try and capitalize on any mistakes from our competitors.
Strategy is always the same, just keep it clean, keep it on the track.
I have a feeling that I will be able to perform very well throughout the next 3 rounds.
I think the plans is to be to do more testing.
Familiarizing ourselves with the track.
Probably be putting in a few hours every day.
It's going to be a challenge because we'll have to keep on adapting to a different setting and different track and the different car.
Probably most afraid of the classic Formula 1 cars around Monza.
Not knowing what to expect for the Lotus 49 round.
Definitely most afraid of the Silverstone round. I think double points really have a massive impact on the championship, obviously.
I'm not really afraid of any of the rounds in particular.
Hopefully bring the field a bit closer.
It's going to be very challenging.
Qualifying is not going to be so important, and it's going to be more about racecraft, so that's going to be a little bit different.
Hello and welcome to the E1 Championship Season 2, the region's premier sim racing championship. All of this action brought to you by our sponsors Evo Club Car Insurance, where you can save up to 40% off your next car insurance renewal. You've got the lovely graphic in front of your screen. That's their website. Go and check it out, but also check out our Facebook page where you can catch our live stream and the EGG website where you can catch all of the latest information about everything that's going on with the E1 Championship. Now, my name is Daniel Woodruff. I'm your host for this evening, and with me is Alex Young, the race director for the E1 Championship. And with us in the commentary box tonight is Amo, all on his lonesomes, but fret not, Alex Young will be filling in that seat during the races. So plenty of action to come. Now, we've had a short break. It was 2 weeks since round 5. We're currently at round 6. There are 3 rounds to go before we're able to crown our Season 2 E1 Championship winner. And tonight, to make it even more exciting, we're going to yet another mystery circuit. Now, Alex, this is the second mystery circuit that we've been to this season. And I know I'm going to ask you, and you're not going to give it away, but last time round, we went to a Roval. Just give us a hint. Is this going to be fast? Is it going to be slow? Is it going to be a street circuit?
Well, I mean, the last mystery track we had, like I said, was a Roval at Charlotte, and that was really tight and twisty, and you can see how tough it was to overtake, especially these IR01 cars. So all I can tell you is we're going to go somewhere fast, somewhere completely opposite, lots of overtaking, lots of slipstream.
All right, lots of overtaking. I love that. I'm sure Des watching at home is going to love that too. So where are we going? Stay tuned to find out. But before we get to tonight's action, let's have a little refresher on the championship standings so far after 5 rounds. All right, so let's take a look at the evolution of the drivers' championship standings. In round 1, it was Luke Bannister with Josh Perwin, the Australian duo, in first and second. But then after round 2, it was the Indian of Mohammed Ibrahim who then began his winning streak, taking a commanding lead that he is then going to carry on into round 3, round 4, and round 5. But as we'll notice, this is really where we start to see the Australian start to claw back that gap. He's starting to inch closer and closer to Mohammed Ibrahim's lead, which means the championship is still wide open. We've got our reigning champion, Mohammed Alif Hamilton, in third, not where he wants to be. We also have another E1 championship winner, Naqib Aslan, in P4, not where he wants to be, but the fight for P1 and P2 is still wide open. In the team championship standings, it's Team Flash that is walking away with a commanding lead. It's BlackArts Racing in second, Safehouse in third, previous champion Stratos Motorsports in fourth, and BlackWolf rounding out the top 5. So, Alex, we just saw the championship standings there. That's after the 5 rounds we've had so far. And the top 2 is really exciting. I mean, there's only 12 points between them. We know that in the E1 Championship, it's never say never until the very last round. But would you reckon it's a two-way fight to the end?
Yeah, I mean, we've always seen close racing in all our different E1 championships, and it is certainly close now. Like you said, 12 points between Ibrahim and Josh Perwin, and I'm not really sure which way this is going to go. I mean, because Ibrahim, you know, he's been the master in qualifying, does well in race 1, but Josh is just there, gets the results, some excellent racecraft, you know, and there he is, only 12 points behind. But, and yeah, I would say, you know, while Alif and Naqib there in third and fourth, I bet they're going to get to the last round and still have a mathematical chance of winning the championship. It looks like it's going to be a two-horse fight at the moment because there is a bit of a gap, a bit of daylight between Josh and Alif in third.
Well, with all the Joker formats, we have a mathematical chance is all they really need to win a championship. So anything can happen. That's really exciting. But on the point of Mohammed Ibrahim, I'm going to throw this your way. I mean, he's had a crazy streak of pole positions. In fact, he has the record for most consecutive pole positions in E1 Championship history. Is this something that he's going to continue for the last 3 rounds?
Yeah, you'll be hard-pressed to actually bet against the guy because he is such a fast guy in iRacing. He's good in qualifying, he's good in races where he can get away, and you would not bet against him to claim a 16th pole position in E1 in a row. So we'll have to wait and see, but it'll be hard-pressed to bet against him.
Well, while Mohammed Ibrahim is extremely strong in qualifying, it's Josh Perwin that's just getting a little bit better at finishing in the races, and I think that's going to be really important for the title fight. But let's take a quick throwback to round 5's highlights to see what's really made that points gap between first and second just a little bit smaller.
The start from Mohammed Ibrahim is terrific.
Because he didn't get the qualifying time right. Oh, Spa 98 vibes intensifies here.
And yep, just in time.
Oh!
No, that was a net code.
Sorry, he's going on the outside, coming onto Lake Tom. Does he have nose ahead? No, he doesn't.
He makes a move for the second time on this lap, but Mohammed Ibrahim has just got the corner. Bannister tries to go around the outside again. Ibrahim's got just enough pace.
That was a last-minute change of direction. You will get a penalty for that.
Ibrahim comes through to take the checkered flag. And Joaquim Garrido gets a good start.
Oh, he's been hit.
Ibrahim has got himself up into P4 from P11.
Miko Nassi takes the lead. Kalen Chin follows suit.
Mohammed Ibrahim moves into P3.
Kalen just going around the outside. He's on the left. Goes around the outside. Miko Nassi's not fighting him.
Well, Ibrahim has got himself up into P2.
A bit of a shimmy there between both drivers, but Ibrahim comes through.
The Miko Nassi is the man in the race lead.
He had a good outlap and inlap prior to his pit stop, so
back-to-back occasions, but it's a win double at Spa for Mohammed Ibrahim.
So let's take a look at the results from round 5. In qualifying, here's a look at our top 5, and it was once again Mohammed Ibrahim with his 5th consecutive pole position. And despite winning both race 1 and race 2, it was other drivers who after penalties ended up inheriting the win. And that was Josh Perwin in P1 in race 1 and Miko Nassi in P1 in race 2, of course claiming his first win of the season, and I'm sure he's going to be vying for more. And that put Miko Nassi out on top in the overall round points finishing. All right, so we hinted at it just now that Mohammed Ibrahim got pole position. He won race 1, he won race 2, but then he didn't. He got penalized. So, Alex, why don't you walk us through exactly what happened?
Yeah, I mean, he actually done it before in round 2, didn't he, when he took the whole thing. But here it is. This is race 2, and you can see just dive down the inside of Josh. Josh gave him space at the middle of the corner, and Ibrahim still hit him. So the stewards looked at that and thought, wow, he's just taking out his championship rival. That looks very cynical. But I talked to Ibrahim after that. He said he just locked up on the curb, and you can see he touches the curb here, and it bounces him off the curb into Josh. So after looking at that a few more times, perhaps it is I believe him when he says it was just an innocent mistake, but definitely a penalty for that. This one, for me, it doesn't look like it's such a bad thing, but for me it is actually, because he's trying to stop Luke Bannister from overtaking, and something we have in the rules is trying to stop people from doing that. We want to give people space so they have a chance to overtake, they can run side by side. And yeah, this is just in the braking zone, just before the braking zone, and in the regulations you're not allowed to do that. There's that first direction change, and then here's a second direction change, and it was a direction change in the braking zone. So two things he did wrong there, and so those penalties were rightly served.
And those were 2 penalties issued that have then resulted in him being 1 point away from actually being barred from qualifying. So explain how that works.
Okay, so we saw Inigo and Anton get a qualifying penalty, qualifying ban earlier on in the season. So basically, if you get, every time you do something wrong, you get 2 penalty points. If it's very bad, you might get 3 or 4. And if you get 6 penalty points in a 3-race period, you get a qualifying ban for the next race. So Mohammed Ibrahim with those 2 incidents are now up to 5. So if he does another incident and gets 6 and more, then he's going to get a qualifying ban for the following races. So he's going to have to watch himself.
So, I mean, yeah, exactly. He's going to have to watch himself. But what does that do to his mindset? Because we know that he's a very aggressive driver. So is he going to be approaching the last 3 rounds as the championship leader slightly differently?
Definitely. He's definitely going to be thinking about that, because he can't afford a qualifying ban, especially, imagine if he makes a mistake, maybe not this weekend, but maybe he makes a mistake next weekend at Monza, because then he's got a qualifying ban for the last race. And that's double points. He wants to qualify at the front, because he'll be ending up at the right at the back. So, yeah, he is definitely almost like driving one hand around your back. You have to be careful, and he'll be more paranoid of making a mistake, because it's so easy to make a mistake in these cars and just kind of slide and hit someone and get another penalty, and that's it. We'll have a qualifying ban. So it is tough. He's not the other driver. There are quite a few others, like Dominic Ang here. I think he's got a qualifying ban as well. So just have to watch out for that.
And very quickly, that's probably going to be a psychological advantage for Josh Perwin.
Yeah, definitely. I think Josh is going to lean on him because he knows about this. Because look how that, it's only 12 points between Josh and Ibrahim. And don't forget the team gain. We saw BlackArts Racing with Josh and Luke Bannister working really well together at Spa. They're going to do that for sure. Any pressure they can put on Ibrahim. So Ibrahim will need his Flash teammate, Muhammad Alif, to try and support him.
Well, as you were saying, team tactics may come involved in this mystery circuit, because we know what it is, and you're going to find out about where it is very, very soon. So let's get into exactly that. Tonight we're at a mystery circuit for the second time. We also have a Joker format that we're going to go into a little bit more detail about. And to walk us through all of that, it's over to our colleague, Amanda.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to E1 Championship Season 2, Asia Pacific's most premier sim racing championship. I'm Amanda Andrea, your race girl for this evening. Now, in the previous rounds, drivers met in the idyllic Spa Francorchamps. We really saw them push their cars to the limit, going full throttle for most of the race. Now this week, we're keeping the tires hot and adrenaline pumping as we head to the one, the only, Circuit 24 Hours of Le Mans, also known as Circuit de la Sarthe in France, home of the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans. Pitting man and machine against the rigors of day and night racing, this legendary circuit is undoubtedly a sacred venue in motor racing. Now, Circuit Le Mans is located in Le Mans, France, and it consists of both a permanent track and public roads that will be temporarily closed for the race. It is also a notoriously dangerous track, as in the year 1955 Le Mans, driver Pierre Levick plowed into the spectator stands in a tragedy that took 83 lives. Now, over the years, extensive modifications were done to the track to better protect the spectators. With a total of 21 turns and average lap speeds of 240 kilometers per hour, this 13.626 kilometer modern circuit is still immensely fast and will be tough on the engine and tires. The current lap record was set by Mike Conway at 3 minutes and 17.297 seconds when he won the 2019 Le Mans. Now this week, drivers will once again be using the Dallara IR01. This Italian high-speed monster embodies power, speed, and handling. The power from its naturally aspirated 3-liter V10 engine makes this car roar. Now the Dallara weighs around 600 kilos with a fuel capacity of 80 liters and delivers top speeds of 346 kilometers per hour. As we head into round 6, our race director Alex Young decided to mix things up a bit and go for another Joker format. Now the qualifying round today will not be determining grid positions. Instead, Race 1's grid positions are set by the top 15 of the current championship standings in reverse order. Pole position will start with the driver in P15, followed by P14 up to P1. P16 onwards will follow suit in their respective qualifying order. Race 2 will be the usual reverse grid race as per Race 1's standing results. Points will still be awarded to the top 5 in qualifying from 5 down to 1. Top 15 in Race 1 and 2 will earn points ranging from 25 to 1. Of course, an additional 2 points will be given to the driver with the fastest lap in Race 1 and 2. Now, at the end of the season, a grand total of $16,000 and trophies await the teams and drivers with the highest points. The champion and winning team will win $4,000 and a trophy, followed by the first, second, third, and fourth runner-up respectively for both driver and team divisions. Now the competition is getting heated as we are coming close to the finish line. Good luck to all the teams and drivers.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Yes, that's right. We are here at the La Sarthe circuit, the 24 Hours of Le Mans legendary track. Alex, this is always referred to as a special circuit, but what's special about it?
Well, okay, the history. It's flat out. It's very fast. You know, when you race around here, especially Sector 1, Sector 2, these long straights, even though they've put in the chicanes, the Mulsanne straights and stuff, it's still extremely fast. And of course, 24-hour race. You know, it's one of the biggest races in the world, if not the biggest race in the world that happens every year. But here's the crazy thing. You never allow Formula 1 cars around here because it's too fast, it's too quick, it's too dangerous. But it's not a safety issue here on the virtual world. So
beauty of Eracing.
Exactly. We have put Formula 1 cars here at Le Mans. So look at these long straights, especially Sector 1 and Sector 2, these long straights, populated with these, punctuated with these chicanes and stuff. So everyone's going to be running minimum wing as possible because it's all about keeping the drag down the long straights. And it is a street track. Look at it. It is a street track. It's closed once a year for the 24 hours, and it's bumpy. It's not a terribly difficult track in the fact that it doesn't have too many challenging corners. There is some challenging bits like this bit that they're going through right now. Porsche curves are quite iconic and challenging to drive, but otherwise not too many of these big fast corners. But it is still a high-speed game of chess.
Well, it may not necessarily be too hard to navigate those tighter corners, but the hard thing is going to be avoiding the slipstream. I mean, we had just come from two ovals. One was a full oval and one was a semi-oval, a roval. And we saw the effect that these cars have when it comes to slipstreaming and how easy it is to just overtake a driver just by sitting behind them. And I mean, we've got 4 straights here. That's going to be so hard to be on pole.
That's exactly right. I mean, there'll be 4 straights where they'll be flat out over 320 kilometers per hour. Not 1, not 2, but 4. Here we are coming out of Tetra Rouge right now, all the way down this long straight to the first chicane. It will be a slipstreaming fest, like you said. It's not necessarily going to be about the fastest driver today. It's going to be about the smartest driver. So it's be a bit like the oval race we had. It'll be a bit like Spa, where you have this huge slipstream. So you have to be clever. Maybe you don't want to lead. I do like coming to these sort of tracks where you have to think about other stuff other than just driving flat out.
Well, strategy is going to be very important, particularly for our pole man, for the reasons that you've just mentioned. Championship standings as the starting positions, and that means that Ivan Vantagiato is actually on pole position. This is his first pole position in the E1 Championship. Do you reckon the nerves are going to get to him?
Yeah, can we call it pole position?
There we go.
I don't know sure we can. But yeah, he starts at the front. Yeah, I think the top three will be a bit nervous. Ivan's not used to being there. Neither's Melvin Tan and Joaquin Garrido. They're youngsters. But you know, the bit further down, Aaron Lim, Dominic Ang, they're very experienced. Maybe they don't have the pace to stay there, but they'll certainly be able to handle being up there. But of course, we're going to be looking further down to the guys, the big guns, shall we say, Ibrahim and Perwin coming through. But first, they have to navigate the first few laps. They can't be too aggressive because they'll have contact and then they'll send them to the back of the grid.
So what's your advice for Ivan Vantagiato starting from pole? Is there much he can do with the slipstream that strong on so many straights?
He's just got to stay out of trouble, really, to be honest. He's going to get swallowed up, for sure. So he just has to try and stay out of trouble and try and follow the slipstream. It's going to be like Peloton racing with bikes. You don't want to just make a mistake and fall to the back and lose that slipstream. So he's got to try and stay in the pack.
Well, staying out of trouble is exactly what Mohamed Ibrahim is going to be repeating in his head before he heads into race 1 and race 2, but particularly in race 1 because he's going to be starting from last. I mean, him and Josh Perwin are going to be together in P14 and P15, and that means they've got quite a lot of work ahead of them in the races.
These are great races. They know what they're doing, and they've had plenty of reverse grid races this year anyway, so they'll know what they're doing. They just have to stay out of trouble. Standing starts today, that's the other thing. Normally when we do reverse grid races, we do rolling starts, but because of the last chicane, how tight it is, we've decided to do standing starts today.
All right, so standing starts tonight, long straights. I mean, just quickly here while we have the shot, what can a driver do to avoid being overtaken? Is there much or nothing?
Nothing. Get a better exit out the corner before, so there's a bit of a gap. If you don't get a good exit, you're going to get swallowed up. This is what? This is the second chicane. No, it's the first chicane. Yeah, back onto the Muson straight. Such long, massive straights. In the old days, they didn't even have these chicanes. But even with these chicanes, it's breaking it up this massively long straight. It's still, there will be, see, look at that, 320, 322 kilometers per hour down this bit before braking for the second chicane.
Well, qualifying is going to be up next. It's going to be extremely exciting. I mean, just looking at that shot over there and how long those straights are, these drivers are going to be flat out for a majority of the lap, so I can't wait to see the onboards. We have all of that action coming your way very shortly after this break. Don't go anywhere.
When I switched to Pro Mileage, I got 46-47% of savings.
I paid $790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was $1,290. Pro Mileage was the only one that gave me $5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking Pro Mileage. I say, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
Okay, here are the championship leaders and champions from round 1. Muhammad Alif, and he's joined by Muhammad Ibrahim from India, and who is leading the championship right now, and he's only 18 years old.
Up next, we have the team in green, previous champions of both the team championships and the drivers championships, the Malaysian duo of Nakib Aslam and Dominic Ang.
And then next up, we have BlackWolf Racing, the Singapore-based team, and Kalen Chin from Australia, 14 years only, and he's joined, fresh from Italy, Riccardo Pacelli. He's running with car number 62, and he's also only 18.
Up next, we have the fast Filipino driver lineup of Inigo, Anton, and Joaquin Garrido. Inigo, lots of support on our Facebook live stream. Keep it up, guys. We love to see it. We love to see him up at the front as well.
And next up, we have Safehouse, the Korean Singapore-based team, and from Finland, Mikko Nasi, who has won a race in each of the E1 Championship seasons, and he's joined by Joshua Thomas from Australia, age 20.
Next, we have BlackArts Racing with Josh Perwin and Luke Bannister, the Australian duo. Josh knows he wants to be in P1. He's only 12 points away, and he's going to do very well this round.
And then we have Apex E Racing, the team from Brunei, and they have an all-Malaysian lineup. Arif Azmi, who's only 16 years old, and he's joined by Freddie Young, who is the younger brother of Dominic Young.
We then have E1 Championship newcomer Daniel Martin, and alongside him E1 veteran Ivan Vantagiato from Australia, both racing for Slipstream Motorsport.
And then we have Team EGG, Aaron Lim from Malaysia, the legend. He's still a very young, 36 years old, I have to say, but he's joined by the youngster Melwin Tan from the Philippines.
It's a warm and humid afternoon here at the Circuit Le Mans. The temperature is 24 degrees and air humidity at around 60%, with wind speeds going at 14 kilometers per hour. Now proving so successful in his time racing at Circuit Le Mans, Tom Christensen achieved the nickname of Mr. Le Mans, managing 9 wins overall and an incredible 6 consecutively. His first win came in 1997 and his final one in 2013. Now, the Circuit Le Mans has seen the likes of world-leading automakers like Bentley, Bugatti, Jaguar, Aston Martin, just to name a few, battle it out in countless epic battles over the decades. Now, the epic showdown of Ford versus Ferrari in the mid-60s was even later adapted to an award-winning film. So, which teams and drivers will be the first winner in E1's Le Mans race? Let's find out as the 10-minute qualifying race is up next.
Thank you, Amanda. Up next, we have qualifying, and all of that action is brought to you by our sponsors, Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage. Check out the website to find out how you can save up to 40% off your next car insurance renewal. Now for the action, it's over to Alex and Amo to walk you through qualifying.
Thank you, Daniel. And yeah, me and Alex are actually just shaking in our boots right now because we're kind of expecting an absolutely barn-shattering race here today at the Circuit de la Saf. What are you looking forward to, Alex? Because you've raced it before.
Yeah, well, I've had the honor of racing it twice before, so it is, it was an honor to race. You see qualifying just about to start. It's going to be a slipstream fest, and qualifying, it's just off. They are starting the last sector, so that's fortunate for them because it is a really long lap here. I want to try and focus on a new boy, though, as we see Muhammad Ibrahim start. This is the guy who's favored for pole position. And we will focus on him a little bit later on, but we have to try and catch the new guys. BlackWolf DRS Wave, Italy. Kalen Chin's new teammate is from Italy. Riccardo Pacelli. He's not on track yet right now, but we'll catch him in a bit, hopefully, as we watch Muhammad Ibrahim go start his lap.
Yeah, as he comes through the arena section, you can see the background there. That was the Bugatti circuit where the French motorcycle Grand Prix takes place, and at one point the Formula 1 World Championship Grand Prix as well in 1967. They kind of moved away from Le Mans afterwards because the track was actually quite boring for spectators and drivers. But now we're going to go through a lap here with Alex on the Molzan.
Well, here we are. I mean, now we're in the first sector of the track still, and we've just left the tight twisty bits, and now we're on the long Musan straight, and now we are braking for the hairpin. Oh, just lost that visual there for a sec. And this chicane, it's all about being late on the brakes and early on the power out. Then another massively long straight. See Ibrahim there, his face is very stressed. He's always a tight driver. He always looks very tense when he drives, but he's very, very quick. Long straight, then now braking for the second chicane as it comes up. And you can see, just got to spot your braking here. carries good speed across both apexes, the left and the right. It gets good exit again. And we're not even in the second sector at this point. We're still in the first sector of the lap. Just going on forward as well. Now coming down to the last corner on this straight, the Musan hairpin. And here he goes. Now we're at the furthest part of the track away from the pit building. Through that hairpin, out of that hairpin, get a good exit, and again, another massive long straight. This right-hander here is easy flat out, it's not even a corner. And then we're coming up to my favorite part of the track, the most dangerous part of the track is in Indianapolis. You've got to carry so much speed through this next right-hander before braking for a tight left-hander. I just want to hear if he's flat through this. Ooh, small lifts. That's how big a corner is. It wasn't flat in these Formula 1 S cars, but looks nice and clean there. There's a furrowed brow on Ibrahim's face, but he always looks like that. Although it looks a bit more furrowed than normal. I'm not sure he's too happy with this lap. Now we're coming into the third sector of the track, which is the Porsche curves. This is the tight, twisty bits. Quite fun. Just listen how much he's lifting through the Porsche curves. Ooh, a tiniest of lifts. Very tiny lift. Flat to the left-hander, into the S's now. Has to lift from here for surely. Yeah, lifts here. A lot of understeer through this bit. And good exit out of there. And now coming up to the last bit of the corner to finish the lap. This is the Ford chicane coming up. You've got to just monster the curbs here, and he does monster the curbs. Left, right, and then left, right again. Onto the start, finish straight. And that's a lap. Ooh, bit of sideways action through there. And he crosses the line. It's a 55.9. That's seriously quick.
Whoa. And it's faster than the lap time that I was projecting, actually, because I was guessing around 2:58. So it is a sub 3 minute lap here, way faster than the LMP1 prototypes have ever been around, which is held by Kamui Kobayashi in the Toyota back in 2017. But Alex, that's an absolutely amazing lap. 1.9 seconds faster than Josh, and he was actually having a furrow brow on his face, thinking that was a bad lap because he needs to go around another lap to actually record a new one.
Whoa, his teammate Alif has just done a great lap as well. So great lap from his teammate. Reigning champion, good to see him with some pace. But let's just focus on Baccelli right now. He's new into BlackWolf. He's a really quick driver, real life driver as well as a sim driver from Italy. And I think he can get quite close. You know, this is his first E1 Championship race, replacing Mika Hakkinen into the Ford chicane. Last couple corners now. Oh, he carries so much speed through there. That looks really good. Oh, small hesitation. And that's all the time bled away. No, such a shame. A 12-kilometer track, and he makes a mistake at the last corner. He will have time for another lap. But because the laps are so long, he won't have much time.
2.2 seconds behind.
2.2 with not so bad. He would have lost a chunk of time in that last corner.
Yeah. He's going almost two wheels there, a la GT cars, because we know that prototypes, they don't really mount the curves at the final corner anyway, so he was doing a bit of a GT style. In fact, I think I recall correctly, we had that this year during this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans bike. I'm not sure which car, which GT, but that was a sideways moment. I'm expecting more of those after this, as we are now watching AR Muhammad Alif 3/10 behind, exactly 3/10 behind, Dominic Ang's number, but still, quite a good lap here. This is quite a good turn of pace from Alif after being so far back a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, well, at least he's a top professional. That's what I say about him. He's a real professional. He started this year struggling with the game. He's not. iRacing is probably his weakest game out of all the games. He's world class when you go to the race room and R Factor and GT Sport. But here he is now. I mean, 3/10 off to Ibrahim. He's got to reckon he can try and find that time. We don't have the sectors coming up at the moment.
Yeah, but 1-2 at the moment right now for Team Flash. 1-2. That is actually quite good for the team's championship because they are fighting for that, remember? So, yeah, to have them up there right now, that's going to bring a smile to the faces of everyone involved with that team.
Yeah. And let's see if Leaf can take his first pole of the year. I mean, that'd be quite special. He took several poles on his way to winning the Season 1 championship.
Yeah, in fact,
he's only halfway through the lap at the moment.
Yep.
Who else is
2 poles, but 6 wins and 10 podiums in that Season 1 title run that he had. So he's looking to actually improve that right now. And he hasn't finished outside the top 10, actually, at all this season.
Yep.
So it proves that he is consistent, but he just hasn't managed to crack the pace yet to break the Ibrahim stranglehold in qualifying, at least.
Okay, so Perwin right now, he's on the beginning of the lap. He's just coming out of Tetra Rouge. Still a long way to go for his lap finishes. Let's see where the others are. Ibrahim's still on a lap. He's coming to the end of his lap. Let's see if he can improve on his pole position time so far. A 55.9. Ooh, looks good there. Looks much cleaner through there than the lap before. Surely that's an improvement.
Oh, it is. Look at it, 8/10 now ahead of Alif. So Alif has to buck up this lap. And look at he was pumping his fist there. He knew that was a good lap actually. Much better than last time out.
Yeah, I really loved that lap, didn't he? Okay, we'll follow Alif right now. He's in the last sector. Just a few more corners to go through the Porsche corners, curves. Ooh, he went purple in sector 4. He's gone green in 5 and 6. So, can this be close enough? Can this be good enough to challenge Ibrahim for pole position?
Well, if he gets the final 2 sectors right, he could definitely be on course to closing that gap. Remember, 5/10 is the average that he has so far, trailing behind Ibrahim this season. Monsters his way through the final corner, and he has to abandon that. He knew that it wasn't a good lap, so
what a shame.
He's got one more try at least, one more run before he could actually call it quits in qualifying. And remember, this is the Joker format that you mentioned about, Alex, where the top 15 in the championship will be reversed. So qualifying doesn't really matter too much, but it's just for the points, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So Kalen Chin, he's out on a lap as well. He's gone up to P3, so good lap by him. Let's just follow Josh Perwin as well. Where is Josh in the lap? This is here. This is what? Sector
coming
2,
up to
isn't it? Yeah,
Indianapolis.
So Josh, he's halfway through the lap. We have to follow him. He's a championship rival, isn't he, right now? Looks nice and tidy through Indianapolis. That looks okay. Some more corrections. That's going to cost a bit of time. Not too bad, though. Through Arnage. Arnage is a tricky corner.
It looks deceptively difficult, isn't it? Because it's such a slow corner, yet you can see a lot of guys getting it wrong even in the real world during the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Now, so here we go then, coming up to the final sector. This is where they leave the public roads and back to the motorsports facility at the De La Sarre/Bugatti circuit, coming through the Porsche Porsche curves. Almost flat, we can hear sometimes actually these cars. Depends on how the setup is. We saw just now for Ibra, he actually just lifted off a bit. No sign of a lift from Josh, I can hear, as he comes out now to the Porsche chicanes.
Let's see how much speed he carries. Has to be careful, but take too much curb. We've seen a couple cars get on 2 wheels like Josh just does.
He was there close enough, and he improved his lap time as he comes across the line. 2.4 seconds, yep, up to 5th, and 1 point right now. Displaces Mikko Nassi for 5th, but look at that look on his face. He knows full well that 2.1 seconds, the disparity is way too large here.
Yeah, no, he wasn't happy with that lap at all, was he? So, drivers struggling to get a lap together. Oh, we're with Alif right now. So he's still got a lot of this lap to go. Let's see where Ibrahim is. He's done. He's put himself in the pits. Okay, so he's not driving. So Alif is the only one on track. Riccardo Bocelli. Okay, Alif there. He's just got through sector 1, just into sector 2 right now. They'll come back to him. Bocelli there, he's not moving either. So looks like Alif is the only one on a good lap at the moment.
Yeah, and purple in sector 3. Again, he knows some parts of the track that he is strong. We saw just now he was fastest in sector 4, so not this time around. He's only able to set the fastest sector 3 of all. But coming on to sector 5, he's fastest as well. So this looks like a good lap here. He might just claw back the deficit between himself and Ibrahim. But he'll be told, oh, if he does that, let's hope he didn't invalidate that lap. He's coming around now to the final sector of the lap where he comes back onto the Grand Prix circuit.
And his teammate Ibrahim there, he's done for qualifying. He thinks he's done enough, but he's watching the screen because he knows that Alif is on a good lap as well. But Alif is smiling there. I wonder if he's made a mistake.
I think probably he's just given a bit of a pep talk by any of his race engineers that he's talking to right now, coming up to the Porsche chicane. Yeah, he looks a bit serene, but second place right now would not be too bad of a result, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. He still gets points. He's still consistent in qualifying. It's just that deficit he just needs to claw back so he wouldn't feel too bummed up by it as he comes out now to the Porsche chicane.
What a great job Flash has done today. They're going to get first and second in qualifying right now. Oh, gets it sideways on the line. Again, that would have cost him a bit of time. Doesn't improve.
He has, yep. He has not improved that time despite setting 2 purple sectors. So that's the end of qualifying. And I believe we can probably get an interview with Ibrahim for the 6th time. Or we can say in French, 6e position de tête.
Okay, hi, Ibrahim. Ibrahim, that's another pole position for you. Congratulations. Well done on that. You got to talk to us about this track. It's such a long track. I mean, you must have enjoyed that qualifying session.
Yeah, I'm again thankful to God for another pole. And yeah, I mean, the track's great. Yes, it's really long. There are many straights, so takes quite a while to complete a lap.
Yeah, I could see your first run. You didn't look very happy with that first run. Looked a bit tense, but the second lap was much better.
Yeah, second lap was better. I have to take it very conservatively because on this track you can throw the lap anywhere, you know. So you can get an off track or invalidate a lap so easily here. So you have to drive really slow.
Okay.
You were biting your nails towards the end. We could see you were watching your teammate go around and actually setting 2 purple sectors. At any point, were you worried that your pole position wouldn't remain and someone else would be on top?
Yes, I mean, we're always worried because anybody can beat your time. So anybody can beat it. So I was worried all the way till the end.
Well, once again, 6th time in a row, it's you on pole position. Very quickly, it won't mean that you will start on pole position, though. Of course, we have a slightly different starting grid for race 1, so you will be starting towards the back of the grid. What is your strategy for making your way through the field on this very fast circuit?
Yeah, I mean, you have to stay out of trouble. That's going to be the main thing, and just finish the race with no incidents, basically.
Well, it sounds like a good plan. Sounds like you and Alex are aligned. Best of luck and congratulations once again. 6 out of 6.
Yep, thank you so much, guys.
So then, here are the results from qualifying for the 24 Hours of Le Mans Circuit or Circuit de la South here for round 6 of the E1 Championship for Season 2. Ibrahim claims his 6th straight pole position and nearly over a second of his teammate AR Muhammad Ali. Kaelin Chin a brilliant 3rd, with Nakib a very good 4th place, despite not having pace in previous rounds in qualifying, but he's proven himself to actually be improving round by round. 5th is Josh Perwin, rescuing a point on what looked like a bleak situation at one point, but 2.1 seconds behind. And Alex run through the rest of the grid.
I see Mikko Nassi there in 6th. Bocelli with his first qualifying in E1 was 7th. Josh Thomas 8th. Luke Banderson 9th. And Arif Azmi in P10. But I'd have to say that's a very good point by Josh Perwin then 5th. He loses 4 more points to Ibrahim, so he's now 16 points behind the championship leader.
Yes, and the points that he lost here may be quite crucial in the grand scheme of things, but overall, even in the qualifying session so far, that's 6 pole positions times 5, 30 points alone from qualifying. Ibrahim's on a hot streak in that one alone, and that's enough to actually probably secure good form for the rest of the season.
That is true. I mean, I think the main thing obviously is, now that qualifying is over, we've got to think about the race, don't we? It's going to be 2 20-minute races, not terribly long races, but with the fact that it's going to be reverse grids, it's going to be action-packed. And I just wonder what they must be thinking, because it's a standing start as well, so for sure we're going to get some accidents off the line.
Yeah, well, we're going to be expecting more of that and the same for the race. So for that, we're going to go back to Daniel here to bring us to the break.
Thank you very much, Amo. That's right. We just finished another exciting qualifying session. Race 1 is coming up. Lots of spanners thrown in the works. As usual, that's what we love about E1. All of that coming your way right after this break.
When I switched to pro mileage, I got 46-47% of savings.
I paid 790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was 1,290. Pro mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking pro mileage. I say, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
Hey guys, welcome back to E1 Championship Season 2, Round 6, where we're racing on the La Sarthe circuit, Le Mans, 24 hours, a lovely long track where we've just wrapped up qualifying. Round 6, 6 qualifying sessions, 6th pole position for Team Flash driver Mohammed Ibrahim. He does it once again with an 8/10 lead over second place. His teammate Alif Hamilton, who I think we should speak to next and really work out what happened there in that qualifying session. Mohammed Alif, good to have you back on the screen. That qualifying session was interesting. I mean, you had 2 purple sectors there on your last lap, so we actually thought that you were in it with a chance of having pole position. We could see your teammate actually biting his nails on the screen, thinking that you might have actually toppled him, but ultimately it didn't come through. But walk us through qualifying.
I hit the cone down the mouse, and there was a small cone there. So when you touch it, it gives you a 0x contact. But ultimately, it's a good progress for me. I'm completely on using a different setup now. But you know, I'm pretty okay with the lap. I think there was still at least half a second there, and still good progress. And it's gonna be reverse grid at Le Mans, so anything can happen.
I mean, Team Flash, what a great job. I think this is your first 1-2 for the year, but so much quicker than second 1-2 of the year. Excuse me. But the gap between you and the rest, that was a dominant performance by the team. You've obviously found something as a team.
We didn't find, I think Ibrahim found speed on his own, and I was finding speed on my own. So both of us kind of just pulled away from the rest, I believe. Because we didn't really work together on this particular round. So I think that was what you saw. But I think if we had worked together, maybe there would have been a bit more. But I think it's still very good performance by the team. Get a 1-2 like you said.
Well, that makes it more impressive then. I mean, okay, but obviously tough race coming up. You know, reverse grid, slipstreaming. You need to try and work as a team in the race, don't you?
Yeah, I mean that's always gonna be the thing, you know. Even though we might work apart before the race, I know during the race we will be working as a team because we are representing Team Flash. You know, we have to upkeep our name and we have to make sure that we score enough points for the team's championship. So, I mean, on that part, on the track, we're gonna be working very well together, and I believe so.
And what's the strategy? You're just going to attack straight from the beginning. Can you break away? Can you break the slipstream and get away if you get to the front?
I'm not too sure because the slipstream is so powerful that if, like, for example, I'm not sure who's going to be behind me, but it's going to be very powerful to follow. So even if you might be a bit slow on the corners, but you're just going to catch up down the straight. But you know, I think we would be starting 15th and 13th. So I'm not sure if that option is even there to try to break away.
All right, well, congratulations on a strong qualifying, and we'll see how many cars you slipstream on the first lap.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. All right, Alex, I think we've got time for one more interview. Let's speak to our championship contender, Josh Perwin.
Yeah. Josh, are you there? I mean, you got to 5th at the end there, so 5th's not bad, but I'm sure you were hoping to get in the top 3, weren't you?
The position is like 5th, it's alright, but it's the gap, the seconds gap, which is the concerning part. Like 2 seconds is not normal.
Yeah.
And I thought I set up, and to be honest, like most people are on that pace, it was quite optimized. It's just whatever Flash have is, yeah.
Back to the drawing board is what it sounds like.
Well, we think we got this set up right. We did everything right. It's just like it's mostly a flat out track, so I don't see how we could be losing 2 seconds, but yeah.
Okay, well there are a few corners in it, but let's talk about the race now. You know, it is going to be reverse grid. You and Luke worked really well together. Actually, you've worked well together all season. Obviously, it's going to continue now, isn't it? Are there any special plans you have?
No special plans, no, but me and Luke do work quite well together, so of course we'll be trying to maximize our result today. And I think if there was a round for a Joker format where like the whole championship grid was reversed, this would be the round because of the deficit. So yeah, at least it gives us a fighting chance.
Well, on that note, you're going to be starting pretty much neck and neck with Mohammed Ibrahim in race 1. Obviously, you both have the championship in your sights, and we're obviously calculating the points with every single event that goes on. What's your strategy for the start?
Try and survive, because I think I can still get, as long as I don't get taken out, I think top 3 or even the win might still be possible depending on the race situation, because it's going to be very, very tough to break the slipstream here. Like, it's kind of the situation where you could be 7th on the last lap, but as long as you're in that train for lead, you could be leading by the end of the Mulsanne. So it'll be quite an interesting race, and hopefully the drivers kind of work together so we can kind of keep the train going, but we'll see.
Like cycling. Peloton racing. Have you talking to some of the other teams? Maybe you should...
I haven't been talking to the other teams, but we've been, like, for example, in Racing when we were using the DRS, it was the same. Like, I think me and Nikib did it well in season 1 at Watkins. So I think a lot of the drivers kind of know to not fight and just try and keep a slipstream, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
That's good. You guys have raced together a lot, so that might happen. Well, good luck, mate, and hope you have a good one.
Thank you.
All right. Josh, he's in it to win it. Slipstream that's going to be working in everybody's favor. I can't wait for the race. Let's go ahead and take a look at the official qualifying results from just now. All right, so round 6. Here is our official top 5 from qualifying, and once again, Mohammed Ibrahim in pole position, bagging those 5 points. Muhammad Alif Hamilton in second, his teammate, collecting 4 points. Kalen Chin, the Aussie, another strong qualifying performance from him. Really, really good to see. P3, Nakib Aslan, one of our reigning champions in P4, and Josh Thomas in P5. Of course.
I think it's not Josh. Was it Josh Thomas? It's Josh Perwin.
It was Josh Perwin, yeah.
Oops, whoops.
Josh and Australian, these things do happen, but it's going to be exciting nonetheless. Those results, of course, do not result in the starting positions for our race 1, which is going to be happening very, very soon. Before we get to the action, over to Amanda to walk us through race 1.
Congratulations to the top 5 drivers in qualifying for getting extra points before heading in to the first reverse grid race. Now, with the top 15 in reverse order on the grid, we might see some very interesting tactics. Circuit Le Mans remains a supreme test for race cars and drivers. The long straights and highly technical chicanes on the circuit are bound to assess the various skill set of the drivers. Will we be seeing plenty of overtakes on the Mulsanne straight, or perhaps the Porsche curve? Let's find out as we get ready to head into the race.
Thank you, Amanda. And yes, we're going to see a lot of slipstreaming fest here today between the drivers, because we saw in qualifying just now that the speeds are quite high. But in practice, while we saw a bit, there was some tactical drafting as well. We saw speeds of 240 plus kilometers per hour from the likes of the Safehouse team where they were testing. So are you expecting more of the same here for the actual race itself?
I think so. I think, you know, like you said, a lot of practice, they were all slipstreaming each other, so they'll be thinking about that. And Josh brought up a good point. You know, a lot of these drivers, Josh, Nakib, Alif, who else? Kalen, Miko Nasi, they're used to racing against each other. And in previous years, when you did race room and had the DRS, they know to not trip each other up. So maybe those kind of drivers who have raced with each other before will figure that out and do that to try and, because if they can work together, they can maybe break the gap from everyone else.
Also, it's kind of like a NASCAR term where they use draft buddies. They have that kind of system where you have certain drivers, even from other teams. If you might not be teammates, but you can work along to actually benefit each other, then that's going to be a thing. But at the moment, at least, I don't think we have draft buddies, apart from what we saw last time out in Spa, where Miko Nasi and Kalen Chin tried to do the same kind of tactic. It didn't really work out, actually, because Ibrahim actually still caught up. So if the pack's still that close, are we going to expect some sort of like pack racing that we see in NASCAR?
I don't know. I think mostly the drivers need to be aware, and I think this. I know this will annoy some drivers, because some drivers might decide to fight at the wrong spot, because if you fight into a chicane leading into a back straight and you make a silly mistake and you slow down yourself and the guy you're fighting, it allows the other pack to break away. So you have to be clever with how you fight and try and overtake, not in a way that's going to slow you down and you end up losing the draft to the other cars around you.
Indeed, you do. Now that we're watching Kalen, and that was quite an interesting line just now there, who is taking on the end of the Mulsanne straight. We're coming out to the Mulsanne corner now, or better known as the Le Onondier straight. They have different names here. Now we're coming onto the back straight, as we have seen before quite a few times that overtaking can happen here, especially onto Indianapolis. But the most famous part that happened here back in 1999 was when Peter Dumbrake took off when he hit the bump right about here and launched himself to the forest on the right of the screen. That was kind of like the most iconic moment on this circuit. Alex, what other memories you have of this circuit actually? I'm pretty sure you have a lot of it because it's such a legendary circuit.
Yeah, I mean, I raced here a couple times in LP1. Great fun, obviously. It's not a challenging circuit in the fact that it's a white knuckle ride. I mean, yes, okay, it's very, very fast, but for race car drivers, these speeds, you get used to it really quickly. But it is just an immense race. It's not a physical race, but it can be a very mental race because you've got a lot. These guys won't have it today, but normally you have a lot of issue with back markers, and the conditions change. It gets very, very tricky.
Indeed, and luckily they don't have the worry of having a night race here or with wet weather. So right now then we're gonna go see how this practice will shake out because drivers probably will start testing out their race strategies. Kalen coming through the final corner now, coming through the fourth chicane and onto the start-finish straight, where normally we will have a flight marshal or the guy who was the checker flight on the circuit. We had that rather embarrassing or close shave incident in the 2021 race where the flight guy nearly got ran over by a prototype. So luckily none of that nonsense here as we look at further up the road from where Kalen was. Josh Thomas coming through Tete Rouge and onto the Morzan or Leonondier straight. Let's see what kind of speeds they can reach here because we saw this is the same team that we were talking about, a Safehouse. They were doing a bit of drafting practice. 325, 26, yeah, maybe 330 without the draft, but with the draft it's 340 plus, so it'd be interesting to see how that would work out. As I hope Dan is still on the line with us. Dan, can you hear us? Right there. So, what else do you expect here from this long straight, from this kind of race? Because we have not seen these kind of cars, proper Grand Prix style cars, race on the track at all. Actually, the closest we ever got this year was when Fernando Alonso took a spin on the Alpine, but albeit not at full racing speeds.
Knee-jerk reaction at Spa-Francorchamps, where he knew he was being slipstreamed down that long straight, and his instinctive reaction was to just cover those moves anywhere that he could. You know, he looked at his mirrors, he knew someone was going on the inside, he moved, he knew they were going on the outside, he moved again, and that's what got him the penalty. And that was instinctive for him. And he's got 4 straights to get through on this track. So everybody is undoubtedly going to be experiencing some sort of slipstreaming at this race, so in race 1 or in race 2. So what I'm really intrigued to find out is whether Mohammed Ibrahim in the heat of the moment is going to remember that he can't move twice. Because if he does, he's going to get that extra penalty point. And if he gets that extra penalty point, he's going to miss qualifying in the next round, which is also going to be another special format. And that ultimately means that 16-point deficit to Josh Perwin in P2 is going to get even smaller. And you know, his title hopes may go out the window. So I just want to see how these drivers are going to navigate being slipstreamed in the heat of the moment.
And indeed, this is what is going to segue to, we're going to ask Alex. Have you actually discussed with the drivers about breaking the toe? Because sometimes if the drivers are actually close to each other, they're trying to go into slipstream, is breaking the toe actually allowed here? That would be an interesting topic, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we've allowed breaking the toe before. You just have to... Breaking the toe, what Ammo's referring to is when you move side to side to try and stop the car from following the slipstream. We do allow that. We don't consider that weaving. But once the car following you gets close enough, then you've got to stop weaving because that's considering that would be considered trying to block the driver. So they have to be sensible. The drivers know we look out for that, and you just need to make sure it doesn't become trying to stop the driver from overtake.
As we are watching now, Freddie Ang behind one of the BlackWolf cars. I think this is Bocelli that he's following right now, coming up to Indianapolis. This is also one of the corners that he could try to potentially overtake. In fact, he overtakes him in the practice session before coming out to Indianapolis. So that'll be quite interesting. That's how powerful the draft is, evidently being shown right there as he now comes through Indianapolis. That'll be quite interesting as well, how the closing speeds will actually affect the drivers. So, he nearly loses coming through Arnash. Yeah, talking about the closing speed as well. If it causes an accident, what kind of severity are we looking at in terms of penalties?
The usual penalties. Oops. Ooh, not sure what happened there. He looked down, didn't he? He looked down to play with something and then didn't see where it's going. So, yeah, the usual penalties. If you hit someone and it's a minor penalty, it can be 10 seconds. and then it goes up in severity to 15, 20 seconds and drive-throughs.
So that's the kind of penalties that the stewards would dish out to the drivers, but that will be the formality when the race comes along, as we are looking now at a 20-minute practice session. We have 9 minutes left to go, circa 9 minutes left to go, now 8.5. So we're going to come to the final half of this practice session, then we go to the race proper, where the top 15 drivers will be swapped around, and we're gonna supposed to have Ivan Vantigiato on pole position, but unfortunately he's not here right now actually. So then the next best driver will take over, and apparently Aaron Lim will be on pole position.
So actually we have some news right now. The reason why we haven't started is because we have an issue. Muhammad Ibrahim cannot get into the server. So stewards have decided to wait just a couple more minutes, but at the moment our championship leader cannot get into the server. We can't wait indefinitely. This is sometimes the perils of online racing. At the moment he's still trying to get in, but if he can't get in, that means we are going to have to do race 1 without Ibrahim.
Well, to that extent, we have to exclaim Mondu. Oh god, that's actually going to be terrible for his championship chances, because, as we already mentioned before, 16 points is the gap now because of Ibrahim's pole position in this race, with Josh only scoring 1 point. That will actually make Josh lick his lips if Ibrahim was not able to join. So, yeah. I guess for lack of a better way to do it, we're going to just have to continue harping on that point, isn't it?
Yeah. We are having to start the race, I think. We're going to start right now. We can't wait any longer. This is live TV, of course, and yep, sorry, it looks like Ibrahim is not going to make race 1. He'll obviously be able to try and get in for race 2. But yeah, it's a bit of a disaster. Here we are now. Look at the grid. This will be a standing start, and you can see the guys coming onto the grid now. Take us through the grid, Amo.
So then, well, it's not the actual grid, isn't it? Because that's
no,
not
the
correct,
grid is
because
not
Joshua
correct.
Thomas is not supposed to be on pole. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
Ivan
that grid is
Vantigiato.
wrong, so let's get rid of the grid.
So anyway, it's actually Joaquin Garrido who's actually on pole position right now, as we saw just now on the right of the screen. It was a GT Radial Eurasia car, and behind him is Aaron Lim. So we're going to start the race pretty soon here as the camera now waves around the circuit. Only 15 cars now because of...
Okay, there is the
Yeah, there we
grid. Garrido there, Aaron Lim. Just got word also that Ivan Vantiago is sick, so he cannot take the starter of the race. Arif Azmi in 3rd, Dominic Ang in 4th, Luke Bannister in 5th, Thomas in 6th, Chin in 7th, Nasi 8th, Nakib Hassan 9th, and Alif there in 10th.
So we got the lights on the gantry now, as we are going to get underway for the Circuit de la Saf. Let's go. Oh, that's already an accident. A car in the wall. That looks like Alif's in the barriers, and there's further accident behind. I see a BlackArts car, but the rest of the field here, the top 5 go away safely. A disastrous start further behind, but it's Aaron Lim, the former A1 GP driver, takes the lead. Oh, and that's a big off there for Joaquin Garrido. He gets taken up by one of the Stratos car. A massive start line crash further behind, and at turn 1 of the Dunlop chicane, a further accident there. What a messy start, Alex.
Absolutely, we're on board right now with Nakib Hassan. He's in P3. He's had a great start, and ahead of him is Miko Nasi and Aaron Lim.
So the former A1 GP driver who only took for the final ever round of the A1 GP Championship leads here, and this is the second time that he's actually on de facto pole position, because he was on pole last time at Charlotte. He came all the way. He actually managed to defend his position, but dropped further behind to 10th place, I think. So he'll try to actually do one better here and stay in front, but he's got a very hungry Nakib Hassan in 2nd place. 3rd is Miko Nasi. So the guys who are fighting for the championship in the top 5 are now 2nd and 3rd, with Ibrahim nowhere in sight. This is great opportunity for all of these drivers to gain ground on the guy.
And this, we'll have to go back, I guess, and have a look at what's happened to Josh Perwin, because Josh Perwin did not have a good start. There he is, all the way down in 10th position, and more importantly, he's out of the slipstream of the top car, so he's going to have to try and do some very quick laps to try and catch up to the pack in front.
3 seconds behind his own teammate Luke Bannister here, so there's probably, well, I wouldn't want to say team orders, but probably a tactical switch here, or they guys look to just slow down a bit and get Josh to catch up to the pack. As meanwhile, further up in front, coming up to the end of the Molzan straight into the Molzan hairpin, Nakib Hassan has taken the lead. Miko Nasi tried to look on the inside of Aaron Lim as well. Nothing to it there. They're still close to each other. But Nakib then will try to get a beeline for it. And this is great for his championship, isn't it? If he could get a second win here, it will do his championship a whole world of good.
That's right. And now we're right on board with Miko Nasi. There he is. Oh, he's just right behind Aaron Lim. They're trying to work together to close the gap to Nakib. And there is Nakib. They have closed the gap to Nakib.
Wow, then that's how powerful the slipstream is. In fact, look at the speedometer on the bottom of the screen. 350 kilometers per hour, and I was seeing 340 plus when he was doing slipstream with his own teammates. So, guess it's depending on the setup as well. Aaron Lim's car is pretty slippery on the straights. He's not been overtaken. So, first, second, and third, as they are right now, they're forming a pack of their own here. As we're going to go for a bit of a Tour de France reference because we are in France after all. It's going to be a bit like peloton racing. That's the group that's broken away so far in the sprints, with Dominic Ang and Kaylin Chin in a group of their own in 4th and 5th. Further behind, Freddie Ang, Dominic's brother, oh, what happened to Miko Nassi? Nassi's actually dropped through the odor. So something happened to Miko there, out of our sight. So what looked like a promising start has now gone up in smoke as Kaylin now trying to battle Dominic Ang coming into the Fort Chicanes, yeah?
Decides not to.
That's close.
I don't think he wants to overtake just yet. I think he wants to slipstream down Musan straight. That's why Kaylin's been smart and decided to wait until we get to the Musan straight. But look behind Kaylin. Luke Bannister's just there as well. And just behind, you can see at the back there, Josh Bowen is closing in as well. So Josh looks like he's closed the gap. And if he can just use the cars ahead of him to try and tow him, use them as springboards to try and slipstream past to catch the front pack.
That's not a good start, isn't it, Alex? Because this is the sort of start that he would not have wanted if he knew that Ibrahim was going to get, well, not DC, but he didn't even get to join this race. Absolutely. He wants to get as many points as possible right now, and this is not doing his championship any favors.
No, exactly right. He needs to get as many points as possible because his championship rival is out.
Wow, wait, what a turn up for the books. This is quite a dramatic storyline we have right now. Of course, we have one race that we could drop from here, but Josh knows full well he has to take every opportunity he could, and there he is. He blasts past Arif Azmi, and, well, Alif also actually slowed down completely for a second. There's Alif right beside him. What happened to Alif? Did he get actually a slowdown warning?
No, he got by in the end. Let's have a look at what happened at the start. The big crash between Josh Perwin and Joaquin Garrido.
Oh, we're not getting the replay right now, so we'll wait and see until the replay comes up. We're watching Josh right now. He is really close behind here to Alif as the camera shakes. There we go. We get a replay what happened at the start. That's Kaylin right beside him. So where did Josh actually end up losing ground? So it was Vanister at the start that lost the wheel. And
oh, net code.
Unlucky. Oh, there we go. He got taken around by one of the Safehouse cars. So I'm assuming that's Luke Thomas because Miko's further in front there. So luckily for him, he actually recovered quite nicely. But now he still has to actually make out a whole lot of positions, starting with Alif Hamilton. And we know full well that's not an easy task, isn't it, to overtake Alif. Put him up in front. Naki Bazlan serenely ahead. He's on course for his second win of the season. Well, he couldn't have imagined us saying that prior to the start of this race, because only one win. Yes, you might say it's a bit fortuitous, but a win's a win. And it was coming at the most important race of them all is Indianapolis, where points on there was absolutely valuable as we look at the battle for third.
So yeah, Kaylin Chin has got past Dominic Ang, but Dominic Ang has gone back ahead of him, the BlackWolf driver. So the two of them working quite well at the moment, and if they keep working well like this, maybe they can close the gap to the front two, Naqib Aslan and Aaron Lim. Oh, gets sideways there, though Kaylin Chin does. But look at that, they're all coming together. This is going to be a huge gaggle of cars very soon, and slipstreaming each other all the way to the end. Naqib needs to try and break the toe of Aaron, or they need to work together, because you can see Dominic Ang and Kaylin Chin are closing in right behind him.
And tell you what, that's 8th place there, because I see that's Josh Perwin as Freddie Ang now drops position. I think he might have spun himself out somewhere in the Porsche curves. There's Luke Bannister, and there's his teammate in 7th. So Perwin has actually made it quite a good recovery here, but he knows full well the job's not done yet. He's still got a lot of time, 14 minutes to be exact, to actually make it up to the top 5. So Bannister here is doing his teammate a huge favor. He could draft him. There we go.
Yeah, this is Bob Perwin there, just on the roll bar right now. We're just watching and just looking at these two cars. Perwin he's okay, isn't he? I mean, there's still a long time to go, like 14 minutes to go, and he knows if he can work together with Alif and Bannister, and they will work together because these drivers are very intelligent that way. They can try and close the gap to the rest of them.
And they are working together now because look at that. Alif just passed Bannister. Bannister didn't put on much of a fight there because he knows what his teammate is right behind, so he can actually help his teammates. So the BlackArts drivers working together again, just like they did at Spa, but it didn't work out to a win. They probably hope that this will be a different case this time around. As they come up to the Mulsanne straight, Alif will be the guy right in front. The hair that will actually be the tasty hair for these foxes to catch.
Wow, and look at that. Naqib looks like he's breaking the toe. And look at that gap. The green car, Nakib Aslan's got a huge lead, 1.8 second there. And look, Dominic Ang's fighting now with Aaron Lim. That's not what they need to do. They need to work together to try and close the gap to Alif. But that sort of fighting is going to allow Nakib to pull even a bigger gap. Look at that, stretched now up 2.4 seconds.
It was 1.8 coming to the first Mulsanne chicane, and look at that, 6/10 only for the battling. So if they know that they can see that kind of gap developing, they would not be fighting each other too hard. So it's now a battle between drivers from 2nd to 7th.
Yeah, that's they need to be working together. But actually, Dominic Ang doesn't want to work with them because it's his teammate that's further up the row. And Aaron's made him a poor exit out there. So Kalen needs to overtake Dominic Ang now. Kalen needs to get in front of Ang so he can have a chance of getting close to Dominic in front of him and then trying to get close to Nakib further up the road.
So this might be a Stratos tactic here to have Dominic become the cork in the bottle in front of these guys as Aaron fights with all his might, pushes Kalen out wide slightly. That's actually a fair move because he was on the inside anyway, but Kalen had to drive on the outside coming up the Mulsanne hairpin, and they're going to go side by side here. They come out to Indianapolis. All the while, Alu is further behind. It's going to be 3 wide coming to Indianapolis. Who's going to be the bravest driver coming through the corner here? This is not going to end up being very pretty here if anybody gets this wrong. So coming through Indianapolis, Kalen on the inside, Aaron on the outside. They're still side by side, and Kalen manages to make the move stick. Wow, we thought it was going to be an ugly accident there.
Kalen needed to make that move. He needed to get through because if he had lost his position to Aaron, Alif would have mugged him, and then maybe the BlackArts cars behind him would have mugged him as well. So that was a great move by Kalen. Vital for his chances of winning the race today. He had to make that move. Now he's got Dominic Ang just ahead of him. He needs to get past Dominic in the next Mulsanne straight. Oh, big action between Aaron there and big crash. Yeah, big crash there. I think it's between him and Muhammad Alif. Hope maybe we get a replay of that later. But yeah, Aaron will be able to carry on because damage is off. But yeah, so shame for Aaron Lim.
Oh, wow, he was on pole position, that's his second pole of the season, reverse grid pole. He actually managed to finish 10th at Charlotte when he was doing that, but I think he's going to have to consign himself to fighting for the bottom again as goes out wide. Was that Alif going wide? No, that was Kalen going wide, under pressure from Alif, coming out to the Dunlop chicane. All the while then, with these guys battling, 3.1 seconds is the gap between Nakib Aslan and Dominic, so the Stratos boys have actually planned this out quite nicely.
Yeah, Kalen, that was a big mistake. That was important because he needed to be right behind Dominic, I think, coming out of Tetra Rouge. But as it is now he's struck in a dogfight. He won't have a chance of breaking the toe now. There's going to be 5 cars here. These 5 cars battling for second position. And they're going to be battling so hard, they're going to allow Nakib to pull away. Here's that, Alif was on the inside, but the contact between the two of them, and that put Aaron right to the back of the field.
Ow, that is a very painful accident, especially if you're on a direct drive unit, you can probably feel that. But probably because he's a racing driver, he'll take his hands off the wheel anyway. But anyhow, back to the live action as Alif now takes that position away from Dominic. So he's managed to actually go through the Stratos barrier. Now he sets his sights on Nakib, but he's 3.5 seconds ahead. They can still see him because that's the entire straight that they can see right now.
Yeah.
But all the while, they're going to have to fight each other for that position if they want to catch Nakib up in front.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the gap there, 3.5 seconds between Nakib. And then you look at the gaggle of the cars behind him. There's Alif leading him. Dominic Ang's still there in P3. Oh, Kalen makes a mistake, gets a poor exit out of the second chicane. And I think that's going to allow both BlackArts cars to get by them if he's not careful.
So left or right, where they're going to go. Let's see where they're going to do for this because Kalen now looks in his mirrors. He knows full well that this is a team that's waiting to mug him. Unless, of course, he can defend quite smartly, which he does, coming through the Mulsanne hairpin. And he defends for now. Oh, blinked out for a second. I think that was a bit of netcode issue. But smart defending from Kalen. He prevented Josh from overtaking, and Bannister behind also had to follow suit because he doesn't want to hit his teammate.
I think Josh deliberately decided to hang back because I didn't think he wanted to overtake there because he knew he'd get overtaken into Indianapolis. So that's what he's done. So now he's got the draft and he's going to come true. And both BlackArts cars looking to get past Kalen Chin right now. Josh on the inside squeezes through and he makes the move.
And I thought Kalen was going to put up a much harder fight there. So Kalen then, who was potentially up to second, has dropped now to 5th with 6 being on the cards here if Bannister could get him. So that's going to be where he's going to consign himself there unless he could fight his way back. As now there's a bit of a gap here between Josh and Dominic. So all the while they're fighting, the gap's increasing between 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th, 5th, and 6th.
I tell you what, that's really good though. You know what's happened here? Alif is a man that's broken the pack. He's had great pace to the second part of this lap, and he's taken Dominic with him, and that the two of them now have a big gap between for the fight for fourth position with the two BlackArts cars and Kalen Chin.
Oh, he's coming in. In fact, look at that. Nakib is also coming in, and Dominic. So looks like the medium tires couldn't last the distance either. So we saw just now the guys who were from 11th to 14th, they pitted because they were on soft tires. Now everyone's going to go into the mediums for the second stint. So then, look at that. This is almost like a IndyCar style pit stop where cars are coming in single file going into the pit boxes. Who's going to come out in front here? The battle of the pit crews is on. So, Alif then, we're watching him right now. Can he maintain second position ahead of Dominic, or can he even jump Nakib if he gets the pit stop right?
Yeah. Okay, why they come out? Oh, there we are coming out there. Poor slow stop for Alif. Here's the replay. Oh, between Mikko Nasi getting taken out by. That's what happened to him earlier on. Remember, Mikko Nasi was in second position. That's why he dropped back down the field.
Oh, so that's an earlier replay then. I thought it was what happened to Mikko Nasi while he was actually fighting Baron Lim, because they're actually 12th and 13th right now, so they were close to each other.
Look at that. Nakib's come out. He's only got a 2-second gap lead over Josh Perwin. Josh Perwin has had an amazing pit stop. He's gone from 6th up to 2nd. Wow, what a good stop by the Australian.
And what a good stop by the BlackArts team too, because oh wait, where is Bannister? Bannister's just only exiting the pit lane, so he has had an absolute shock of a pit stop. His run of bad luck just doesn't seem to escape him, doesn't it? Because he has been absolutely blighted by it for the last few rounds.
And he needs to be up there for the team championship. Don't know what happened to Bannister, but he's had a terrible stop, and he's all the way out. Okay, so back at the front, let's talk about tires. Nakib Aslan is on soft tires, so he's going to do the rest of the race on soft tires. Josh Perwin is on mediums, and Muhammad Alif, he is on soft tires in 3rd position. So Alif has gone by Perwin right now into 2nd position, and he's got the quicker tires.
So then that's an interesting choice there. We saw that the soft tires can't last the 10-minute distance. Now that we're underneath that 10-minute distance, they probably can actually just chuck it on and go all the way to the end. But we know full well that this circuit can be a bit of a tire killer, as we've seen evidently by the pit stops that are being made. So the soft tire might still be a mistake here, Alex.
It could be, it could be. I guess it depends which tire do you have that's at the best of the race, because Josh, okay, he doesn't have the quicker tire right now. He's not going to be as quick as Alif, but he's got the slipstream. So if he can stay in the slipstream, maybe he can, at this phase of the race where the medium tires aren't working, he can stay with Alif, and then tires might come to him right at the end.
Indeed, and if he comes to the end here, he might actually be in a good position. He's only, what, 3.4 seconds behind Nakib right now, so he's still in a good position. Just stay in the draft, can try to work together with Alif, and they can try to reel in to Nakib Aslan. And seeing this top 3 right now, well, it's just like harking back to the days of Season 1, isn't it? How these guys were always fighting for the win.
Yeah, these 3 are always fighting for the win. And just behind these 3, we've got Dominic Ung there in P4, and he's fighting with Kalen Chin. So Kalen, again, stuck behind the Stratos Motorsport car, needs to get by him if he's got any chance of trying to catch the battle for the podium positions.
And we're talking about the guys in the top 5. We had to spare a thought for the drivers who are outside of that top 10, including the likes of Joaquin Garrido, who's actually officially out of the race. Mikko Nasi, after being punted by Aaron Lim, has dropped 53 seconds behind the race leaders, so he is now in 13th. Still going to get points, but not what he would have actually wanted after coming as high as 2nd. Luke Bannister with a terrible pit stop is now 46 seconds behind, and he's behind Aaron Lim, who was the closest of this race. And then 10th is Daniel Martin, which will be his best finish of the season.
Okay. So we're talking about Josh using the slipstream to try and stay with the lead, but he's dropping back too far at the moment. Oh, there he is coming to the pit lane.
He actually hit the back of Kalen there.
Yeah, that was a messy entry.
But what happened further on in the pit stops is what we're going to be interesting at, as we can't see that one, unfortunately. But that pit stop actually cost him 40+ seconds, Alex. Wow. That is quite a disastrous delta to gain in the pit stop when he should be having a good in-lap.
Look at this, Alif is flying. He's closing the gap to Nakib Aslan. There's 4 minutes remaining. And look at that, he's broken the slipstream to Josh Perwin. Josh Perwin is over a second behind. It's 1.8 seconds behind. That is too far. He's losing the slipstream.
And, well, damage limitation, though. He, on the podium, it's not a disaster for Perwin. He will actually, unofficially, by the looks of it, take the championship lead.
That is true. That is very true. But he's got to keep it clean. He needs to finish on the podium. Race 2 is coming up, of course, and Ibrahim might be back for race 2. Hopefully solve the problems for that.
Wow,
anyway.
we want to turn up for the books here. We thought this championship was going to be settled by at least round 5 or 6, but it's still going to go on, and it's going to go on until the very next week and the week after that. So it's quite interesting to see that mechanical melee, through no fault of his own, has actually caused this. Now then, we're looking up to Nakib Aslan. 1.7 seconds. Ali is closing. These two are former champions. Well, actually not former champion. Ali is the reigning champion. Nakib is a former champion, but two champions fighting each other nonetheless.
Yeah, and it is getting close. This is the penultimate lap. Don't forget, this is a really, really long lap. So it'll be this lap and one more lap. But Nakib's got to drive as fast as he can because Alif is closing down that gap. And you have to say that, wow, you know, it is going to be super close to the end. Let's look further back right now behind the top 3. Dominic Ang there, still in P4. Got Keelan Chin behind. Dominic Ang's having the best race of the season, I feel. He's doing a great job there in P4. Keelan Chin in P5. And then in P6, new boy Riccardo Bocelli there. He's had a quiet race. I think he got involved in some first lap incidents. He's in P6. Josh Thomas there in P7. He's still circulating. Freddie Young there in P8. Arif Azmi in P9. And Dan Martin there, just coming into the Musan hairpin, coming into the second sector with a lap and a half to go in P10.
So we can go back to the battle for the front here. This is Nakib. He can full well see further behind there is Alif Hamilton. 1.5 seconds. The gap is closing. The soft tires, despite them being on this, having the same age, having been on the same lap, Alif seems to be making them work even better. And look at that. The gap's closing even further coming through the Ford chicane. The Porsche curves coming out to the Ford chicane. This is going to be an absolute grandstand finish in the final lap. And it's closing even further.
Alif was mega through the S's just now. He's closed the gap to even more. 1.2 seconds, 1.1 seconds. That's enough. He's got a slipstream. 1 second's enough for a slipstream. But we only have one more lap to go, Ammo.
One more lap and I can hardly contain my excitement here. This is actually quite a grandstand finish. And we haven't had Le Mans finishes this close since the 60s, because you have to remember, you have to go all the way back to 1970 between the battle for Porsche and Ford. 69, when Jackie Hicks took the victory by just 250 meters across the line. That's the closest ever finish in Le Mans history. Now we're going to see it reenacted here, albeit in Grand Prix cars around the Circuit de la Sarthe. Third place, Josh Bowen. Well, we can't see he's watching brief. He's about 7 seconds behind, but he'll be happy to take third and tie for the championship lead coming into race 2.
Yeah, here we are coming down that long back straight to the first chicane. 5 tenths at least there. He's close enough. He's going to get Nakib before the end of the race.
Up to the first Mulsanne corner. Easy as they go. 4 tenths. The gap's closing. Nakib now will probably try to think of, there we go. He's thinking exactly what I was going to say. Is he going to try to break the toe? He's smiling right now. And Alif's not smiling much because he knows full well that this could be his first win of the season. Nakib chasing for his second. He goes onto the inside. They're going side by side onto the Mulsanne straight. They're going to turn left here and right and left when they come into the second part of the chicane. Alif takes the lead. What a move on the outside. Alif then takes the lead in the absence of his teammate. What a move there. He was coming, wasn't it?
Okay, so here we go. And he's still got the slipstream, though. He could retake the lead still.
Now then. And Alif in turn goes onto the inside. He defends the corner himself. Coming up to the Mulsanne corner. Who's going to break the latest? It is Alif who breaks late. Nakib now tries to attack every which way he goes, as we see the onboard here looking further behind. That green car is looming even further. They're going side by side, coming out to Indianapolis. Who's going to be the bravest on the brakes again this time? Nakib's got the speed. He's got the draft. He's on the outside. Will he make it coming out to Indianapolis? This is going to be really, really intense between the drivers. And Nakib takes the lead back. But he knows full well this might be a mistake, because Alif can probably fight back coming to the final sector.
That's incredible. We've had 3 lead changes on the last lap. There's one more straight to go. And this is the straight before the Porsche curves. Will Alif be able to do it, though?
Oh, will he be able to do it? I'm actually watching through my fingers right now because this is quite tense. Nakib then holding on for a second with the season. Alif will like to break that up for the season. He goes on the outside, coming through the Porsche curves. Does he make the mistake? Yes, he does! What a move from Alif! He takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Nakib will try to fight back coming into the Ford chicane. But wowee, what a brave move on the outside. This would be an incredible win for the first time this season for Alif.
What an overtake around the outside of the Porsche curves. That was an amazing move. That's as good as it gets through the last couple of corners. That's it. Muhammad Alif is going to win his first race of Season 2.
Oh, and Naki is not too disappointed to finish second that one. An absolutely battle worthy of Clash of the Titans. That is two ex-champions fighting against each other. Fist bumps, and they're both happy with it. I've never seen two drivers who are happy to finish first and second before. Josh Berwin comes across the line to finish third, and very good third place. He ties the championship lead to Ibrahim. Fourth is Dominic, fifth is Kalen, and I think we can go to a very happy interview with two drivers here after this.
Oh, we have to talk to as we watch some of the others coming across the line. Here we go, Freddie Young and Arif Azmi, the two teammates, Apex Racing in 7th and 8th. Though that's a good result for these two. But yeah, we have to talk to Alif, I think. Alif, what a result. I mean, that was super exciting race. Talk us through that last lap.
Oh man, it was so hectic, you know. I know how Nakib drives, and I know he will keep it clean, so that was also my focus. And my brother was also, you know, engineering this time, so he was just saying, just keep it clean, and Nakib won't do anything stupid. So yeah, that move was on the edge, but thank God there was no netcode.
Yeah, I mean, it really was on the edge. I could see you going really wide at the Porsche because you're like, I got to give him as much space as possible. Nakib, you're right, to his credit, kept it clean, tried to give you as much space as possible as well. And what a great move that was. Round the outside, I thought he's going to run wide, but you didn't.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was like thinking, you know, I need to get my first win in E1, you know, E1 season 2. So I was like, and I ain't gonna back out. Just go for it. And that was a good move, yeah.
Wow.
Well,
But yeah, big props to Nakib. I think he was extremely consistent. You know, he was making no mistakes. I think the slipstream in the end got me, but got him. But yeah, I think big hats off to him for just the respectful battle and the top class driving.
Well, good to see you back at the top. Congratulations, Alif. That was an amazing drive.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we have the unofficial results from a stonker of a race 1. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. It is, of course, Muhammad Alif and Hamilton, who we just spoke to up in P1 for Team Flash. One of only two Team Flash cars on the grid, of course. His teammate wasn't able to join, unfortunately. Naqib Aslan, another one of our E1 championship winners in P2, holding P1 up until the very last few corners, and Josh Perwin in P3. He is going to be ecstatic with that points finish. He knows that he's going to be able to cover that delta for P1, and just like we said, the championship is wide open. We got Dominic Ang in P4, Kalen Chin in P5, and rounding out that top 10, we have Miko Nasi. All right, up next we have Race 2 that's coming on later on in the show. We got a lot to unpack there, a lot of interviews to come, post-race analysis coming all of your way, but first, a very short commercial break.
When I switched to pro mileage, I got 47% of savings.
I paid 790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was 1,290. Pro mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking pro mileage. I say, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
BlackWolf Racing team is a Singapore-based outfit that was managed by team manager Daniel and his main driver, Kalen Chin, from season 0.
BlackWolf Racing has been a useful experiment. So Daniel, he competed, he didn't pick up points. They then realized, hey, we've got to take this a little bit more seriously.
Kalen's new teammate for this season has been Mika Hakimi.
I am Kalen, back again racing for BlackWolf DRS Wave Italy.
I'm Mika Hakimi, back again in E1 Season 2, this time racing with BlackWolf DRS Wave Italy.
Both young guns have been working very well with each other, despite not having the sort of success that they were hoping for.
The pairing was actually quite good. They're both very similar in pace. It's certainly better than what BlackWolf has had in the past.
Kalen Chin is a top racer. He's only 14.
We've seen him really lead the team to a lot of the success that he's seen so far.
I think he's got 10 podiums to his name already.
But if one thing, he's still a little bit inexperienced.
Honestly, I think I've been pretty consistent. Montreal, that was a round where we didn't have the pace. Then Charlotte, I qualified in the top 4. I think that was my best round. Indianapolis was my worst round because that was double point.
Mika Hakimi, we know can win races. He has been on podiums. He just hasn't converted it into points this year.
Mika's not being able to contribute as he normally does.
He's only gotten a 6 as his best result.
He might be one of the drivers that is also experiencing a bit of a struggle transitioning to the iRacing platform.
So far in season 2, from round 1 to round 5, none of them have reached my expectation. Even though I got my best result at Charlotte, I thought I was gonna have a real good chance of fighting for wins, but then struggled with the Dallara IR01. That's what made everything quite difficult.
BlackWolf Racing team is another team on the grid this season that's experienced a slight change up in their driver lineup. This time, the Malaysian Mika Hakimi will be replaced for the remaining rounds.
So I'm leaving BlackWolf Racing, and I think a better driver should fill in my shoes because at the moment I'm struggling and it's hindering the team's chances of getting good points in the championship.
Mika isn't being replaced. It's more a question of Mika just doesn't have the time.
We haven't really practiced together, I would say.
Mika is doing a lot of other things, including he's driving with Axel Motorsports.
That's one of the reasons why he's texted me to say that he can't really focus much on E1 now.
So I don't think the pairing has quite gelled yet.
So I think having another experienced driver will really help him.
One of Kalen's DRS Wave Italy teammates, Riccardo Bocelli, is going to take the seat.
I've known him since I joined DRS Wave Italy. We already have good teamwork together in Formula 3. We already have a good friendship as well, so I think we'll have better communication, I would say.
Hello, I'm Riccardo and I'll be driving for BlackWolf DRS Wave Italy. So yeah, very excited to join the championship. It's a real privilege for me.
They just need both drivers to be contributing. That way, they can consolidate 5th position.
The drivers need to work together to try and bring team performance.
We're trying to get the best out of the car, the best out of our potential. We'll keep working and pushing towards that.
Hopefully we could step it up, getting consistent podiums. That's the goal, and I have high hopes for the next 3 rounds.
As for the possibility of BlackWolf winning one of the E1 races this year, you know what? I think it's probably beyond them.
But nonetheless, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Kalen Chin still up at the front despite a change-up in his team structure. Welcome back to the show, guys. Well, that was a good little feature. A bit sad to see Mika Hakimi go, but it looks like it was all on good terms. But looking forward, is this change-up again going to affect Kalen Chin's performance?
Well, I mean, they'll miss Mika. Mika's a top driver. But Riccardo is a top driver as well, although he didn't have a very good first race, did he? I think he got involved in some incidents, didn't quite have the same pace as Kalen. I still feel BlackWolf are missing something with the car. They started the year actually very strong. Round 2, I thought, wow, okay, these guys are going to win a lot of races this year. But the pace has disappeared, hasn't it? Today wasn't very good so far. I mean, it might change for the next race. The last race wasn't very good as well. So maybe they're just gone the wrong way on setup, and it's a case of just getting back to basics, because for sure they have the talent to be winning in E1.
Well, we just got to give Riccardo a little bit more time, but for the moment, it's still Kalen Chin leading the team to the points finishes, and I'm sure we'll see another strong result from him in race 2. And looking back at race 1 that we just completed, that was a stonker of a race. Alif Hamilton ultimately winning with a few corners to go, ahead of former E1 champion Nakib Aslan. He was pipped just a couple seconds after the 20-minute mark and lost out on another win. Let's go ahead and speak to the former champion. Nakib, not the usual smile that we see on your face. Oh, there it is. But walk us through your race. I'm sure that's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, it was actually. You know, we had the dream of starts coming from, I think it was 14th, or I don't know what it was, but yeah, really good start. Oops.
We can still hear you.
Yeah, sorry. It came to the front and yeah, just controlled the pace. I think it was that one slowdown that really costed me. I lost like 2 seconds because of that slowdown. Just by extending track limits a bit. So yeah, fully my fault. If not, I think it would have been a clean victory. But overall, I think considering how this season has gone, we can be pretty happy with P2, especially with Dom, my teammate, finishing P4 as well. So solid team, solid points for the team, and yeah, hopefully we can continue that in the second race.
Well, a lot of what ifs there, but what exactly happened at the start? I mean, how did you catapult so many positions on the first lap?
The launch I had was actually pretty meh. It was 50-50 whether it was a good one or a bad one, you know, nothing special. But I think there was like a bit of contact in the mid-pack there, so luckily I managed to avoid that. That was one. And then I think that affected the front-running guys a bit, so that the momentum was a bit down, so just got to catapult forwards. And I think I was wheel-to-wheel with Joaquin around the outside of turn 1, which is never where you want to be. I think I was quite millimeters away from the gravel, but made it stick. And from then on, I saw Aaron and Miko in front of me, so made sure I kept it clean and surprisingly made the move quite early and just continued to try to control the pace from there. Unfortunately, it didn't come away with a win, but yeah, we can still be happy.
Last question, really quick one. We saw a couple of different tire strategies going into race 1, into race 2. Do you have another strategy to help get up on that speed differential?
Well, the temperatures might be different, so I think we could be on a different strategy, but yeah, I think time will tell.
Classic Stratos driver, not giving much away. Well, best of luck, and we'll see you in a bit.
Thanks.
All right, let's go straight to the highlights from race 1 before going into the official results.
Okay, here are the highlights. Say there's a little bit of clashing there, I think, between Bannister and I think it might have been Dominic Young, actually. And then they set off a chain reaction. There's Nakib in third position. He would soon get himself to the lead. Then the net code there from Garrido and Nakib, which then took out Josh Perwin. Let's not forget championship leader Ibrahim did not make the start. He got disconnected or he couldn't get in the server. And then this last lap, this great overtaking battle where they swapped the lead 3 times. And then finally, just for the Porsche curves, Alif got past Nakib with a couple corners to go. And he would take his first win of E1 Season 2.
All right, and here are the official results from race 1. These are final, and it is Alif Hamilton, not just in P1, but also you see the number there in purple. That means he has the fastest lap, and that's going to be extremely useful for his team to collect a couple more points, because of course they are down 1 driver at the start of that race. Nakib Aslan, very happy there as well to be back on the podium for Stratos, and Josh Perwin. I think that's going to be the happiest P3 he's ever had, because he knows that he is maximizing that points differential to P1 in the overall championship fight. That's Dominic Ang in P4, Kalen Chin in P5, and down the order in P10, it is the calm, cool Miko Nasi in 10th place. All right, guys, we're moments away from race 2. All that action coming your way. Quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
When I switched to pro mileage, I got 46-47% of savings.
I paid $790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was $1,290. Pro mileage was the only one that gave me $5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking for mileage. I said, huh? 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
welcome back to round 6 of E1 Season 2. We just witnessed some courageous and blazingly fast driving in the first race. Now, as we head into the second race, we might see teams and drivers make tweaks to their car and tires for a slight edge. Le Mans is also another high-speed track demanding drivers to go full throttle around 85% of the time. Top speeds on the straights reached over 400 kilometers per hour in 1988. The combination of high speed and high downforce frequently causes tire failures. And due to safety concerns, 2 chicanes were consequently added to the straights before the 1990 race to limit the achievable maximum speed. Who will win bragging rights on this iconic track tonight? Back to the commentary desk.
All right, race 2 is about to start, and all the action is brought to you by our sponsors, Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage. Check out their website to find out how you can save money on your next car insurance renewal. Over to Alex for race 2.
Okay, there's the grid. Mikko Nassi's on the pole with Luke Bannister in second. The race is about to start. Aaron Lim in third, Asmi in fourth, Ang and Chin on the third row. Dominic Young 7, Josh Poe and then P8. He'll be looking for a good start as well. And of course, we have Mohammed Ibrahim. He's starting right from the back.
So then, we got 14 drivers this time. So unfortunately, we are missing one guy, which is apparently Joaquin Garrido. So the rest of the field then 14 cars. So we're going to have a 14 car field again for this second race, as we're waiting for the start to come on actually right now.
There we go. There's the start.
Lights out, away we go. Oh, that's another accident further behind. That's another start line accident. And I think that's Nakib. Nakib's actually been spun round. So, while we're watching it further in front, oh, wow. Kalen actually nearly got up on 2 wheels as well. It's been a messy start on both occasions, and there's still some afters coming through. But Luke Bannister takes the lead here at the start of Le Mans.
Good start indeed. Luke Bannister will be really happy with that. Kalen Chin in second, Mikko Nassi in third. Muhammad Alif has had a really good start as well. There he is in fourth position. So he has had a great start. The Team Flash car, could he get his first double of the season as well?
Yeah, that's one thing to break a duck, and it's another to actually claim a double. What a weekend that he'll have. But right now, it's only just the first couple of corners in the race. We still got about, 19 minutes left to go here as the cars now come up to the first of the 2 Mulsanne chicanes. Kalen takes the lead, Bannister now drops second, Nassi third, Ali fourth, and Dominic in fifth with his brother Freddie just at 6th. We look at Ibrahim, who didn't start that first race because of connection issues, now up to 8th after starting from the behind, with his championship rival Josh Bowen, who is now level on points behind him in 9th.
Wow, okay, so these 9 cars are just spreading away, and that's going to be a great battle for the lead. Josh Bowen there going to the front. He's overtaking, oh no, he's not, and Kalen Chin there holding on and leading through the second chicane.
Now just to hold on then, Kalen has shown again why he is having good racecraft. In fact, brilliant racecraft. Remember, we saw when he was under attack from the BlackArts drivers in the first race. He managed to fend him off quite well, but albeit afterwards he just got mugged. Now he's performing the same thing here, trying to hold off Luke Bannister and the rest of the field as they come up to the Mulsanne corner. Holds onto it again as Ali tries to overtake on Nassi. Didn't make it through there just by yet, but the field are much closer they are this time than they were in the first race.
You see Dominic Young there, P5. His teammate Nakib Hassan, let's see how far back he is. Oh, there he is, right at the pack. But look at that, 2 abreast going down the straight.
2 by 2 in a Noah's Ark formation, except the fact that they're all not teammates as they come through now. Bannister takes the lead again. Kalen is second. Ali moves up to third again after overtaking Nassi. Nassi fourth. Dominic Young and Freddie Young in 5th and 6th. Ibrahim and his championship rival Josh Bowen in 7th and 8th. Those 8 drivers are still in shot with Aaron Lim watching brief in 9th.
Okay, there they are. Look at that. Muhammad Ibrahim there, a great move there, taking Josh Perwin and who's that, Aaron Lim. And you've got to watch him now because he's got to get closer to the pack in front. There's a bit of a gap right now. There is over a second between him and the cars in front. So he has to be perfect through Porsche curves now. The pressure to try and not lose a slipstream. If he can be really good through these next few corners, he'll be able to close the gap to the cars in front and then make use of their slipstream down the Mulsanne straight.
Coming into the 4th chicane now. Perwin's still holding back, so I think he's planning his move on the Leon on the straight or the Mulsanne straight. But all the while they're still actually still chasing Freddie Young and Dominic Young. So these guys from 1st to 9th all the way to Aaron Lim are still with earshot of each other with the extra caveat of a pit stop along the way.
Yeah, there's Josh Thomas there in P10. Bacelli there in P11, and behind Bacelli you've got Nakib and Arif Azmi in P11, 12 and 13. They are really far back, and they're going to really struggle to get back to the front.
And sadly for the Apex boys, 13 and 14 with Daniel Martin out of the race. So that first lap, in fact it wasn't even the first lap, it was the start line where Daniel Martin got collided with Nakib Azlan. That's enough to send him out. But that aside, we're watching back to the battle for the lead. Bannister then, and he is breaking the toe slightly. He's taking a leaf out of Ibrahim's book, but not to an extreme extent. He lets Kalen through, so looks like they're trying to work each other for slipstream. 4 cars in shot, first, second, third and fourth, with Nasi running up the rear. 5th place here, 6 and 7 is what we're watching out, and even 8th because Perwin and Ibrahim are trying to work their way through the Yang wall. So the Yang brothers then 5th and 6th. This is the highest they've ever been in the E1 Championship, and will they be happy to see each other actually cross paths? Now when they're trying to defend guys further behind us, there's a 3-way battle for the lead with Alif on the outside, Bannister on the inside. Who's going to be the one who's going to be bravest on the brakes? It's Bannister who retakes the lead yet again. Alif in second, and what a weekend he's having. He's never had a stronger weekend than this one, and what a way it would be if he actually will claim a double here.
That's right. These 4 trying to break away from the guys behind, but they're not able to do it right now. Dominic Ang there in P5, but he's got Ibrahim coming through down the inside as well. So Ibrahim now has joined this battle for the lead.
And he's overtaken he's overtaken Dominic Ang. Josh Bowen behind him has also taken Freddie, so he might overtake Dominic soon, and this would become a 6-way battle for the lead between some of the fastest drivers in all of the Asia Pacific region, and then some. We can't even call this right now, and we're only about 5 minutes in.
Very true, still a long way to go. Look at the battle for these guys as they try and overtake each other into Indianapolis. Alif back at the front, but you're going to see this whole race. These guys are just going to be swapping positions every lap. Kalen Chin there in P3. Can he pick up his first win of the season as well?
Yeah, he rounded up last season, season 1, with a double at the Nürburgring. Well, how we love to actually break that duck by winning here as well, to follow in Alif's footsteps in getting his first win of the season. But there's still 14 and a half minutes left to go here. Oh, Bannister actually hit the back of Ali for a second, drops momentum, and he has fallen into the clutches of Muhammad Ibrahim. Can he fend off Ibrahim? No, he can't. He has to actually give way because he's still trying to recover speed, and that will be a disadvantage because he's on soft tires. He has to make those work right now, so he's going to have to pit early and try to get onto the medium tires as soon as possible to actually catch up to these guys.
I think Bannister made a mistake there. He just got a little bit too close to Alif. I think they had a small contact and he ran wide. They have to be so careful of the back markers there. What happened there?
Pit lane. Kalen and Nico coming in very early, and they're on medium and soft tires respectively. Kalen on the mediums, Nico on the soft. So that's quite a surprise. This is very early into the race, and they already made their pit stops.
What are they doing coming to the race so early? That's just super early for them as they come to the pit lane.
Are they going on hards? They surely can't be going on hards, don't they?
But
because we know that the hards are actually the worst tire to be on right now.
We'll have to ask them later. Not sure why they're in there. But back to the front then. Alif there. Wow, look, it's got a big lead there. And it's a team flash. 1-2 again.
Well, we're going into this run thinking that, well, it's going to be another run for Ibrahim, isn't it? But it's not the way that Ibrahim has planned out because he didn't participate in that first race. It's a 1-2 for Flash, but overall, in the Drivers' Championship stakes, they want Ibrahim to be as further up the field as possible and ahead of Josh Bowen. Right now, that's happening. He's going to get points back on Josh, but if only that first race disconnection didn't happen.
Yeah, and then look at that. Just, they've pulled away from the rest of them. Dominic Ang there in P4 holding up Josh Perwin. So the top 3, they're going to be gone now, and they're just going to pull away from the rest of the pack.
We were just interested to see whether or not this pack can actually still stay together for a long period. As further behind, that's actually Aaron Lim fighting Freddie Ang, so the rear-wheel drivers are fighting each other. We're looking at the battle between 4th and 5th, between Dominic Ang and Josh Perwin. And Perwin then has lost a bit of he's gone off the boil slightly, isn't he? Because he is now 4 seconds behind his chief championship rival, and he's stuck behind Dominic Ang, which is not what he wants right now.
No, it's not what he wants at all. I think he needs to try and make hay while the sun shines and try and get some good points. But he's lost the battle between him and this pack, this battle for the lead.
This will be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
will Alif work together with Ibrahim? Because we know just now from the interview, a bit of a subtle, passive-aggressive way of saying that, yeah, we should be working together more.
I think they will. I think they can use each other because Alif at the end of the day wants to make sure the Team Flash wins this team championship. They will need to try, and they've not got good points today, so they need to try and pull away the gap because they are fighting very hard with BlackArts Racing, and there is one BlackArts driver there in P3 of Luke Bannister.
And look again, well, he might just have to question what he has to do to actually get some good luck around this championship, because that's another race where his bad luck in the pit lane or something external factors outside has cost him a chance to actually get good results here. Now he's doing Josh a favor here by fighting with the two flash cars, and Josh himself actually is doing himself a world of favors here by going onto the inside, dumping and coming through the Porsche curves and takes away 4th place. He's 5 seconds behind his pack, but I think if he can nail some laps together before he comes to his pit stop, he can actually challenge still for the win.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost too much time fighting Dominic Ang in the green car over this lap, and he's just completely lost touch with the lead between these three. The win's going to come down between these three drivers now.
Indeed, and 1.1 seconds as Alif sets the new fastest lap of the race. In fact, nope, better by Ibrahim by nearly a second, 9/10 of a second there for the better part of that because of the slipstream. So, Josh then only a 2:59 that time around because he was fighting Dominic Ang. Can he actually fend off for a double here for Alif? This might be a great result in terms of his championship stakes because he's so far been the only driver who's finished in the top 10.
Yeah, it's a good point. If Alif can take a double today, that might bring him into shouting distance for the battle for the championship right now, because he's what, 50 points behind right now. But if he could get the double, that could certainly close the gap between him and Ibrahim and Josh Perwin.
Now with his teammate behind him. In fact, Ibrahim has actually taken the lead, but they're going still side by side here because the timing sheets for a second show that Ibrahim is in the lead. He's only about 10th, 100th. Now he's actually fully ahead. So that's kind of like the team tactic, isn't it? Flash are going for the drafting technique, and Bannister has no answer to that, and he's on the soft tyres.
That's right, Bannister is dropping back. I don't think he's got the grip. He's on the soft tyres. Maybe he's running out of tyres. He's 2.7 seconds behind the Flash guys, so it's going to turn into a battle for the lead. I don't know what happened to Bannister. He must have had a slow down penalty.
Or he might be backing off to actually help Josh get the toe as well.
I don't think so. It's too big. It wouldn't make sense because he's in the fight for the win. As it is now, he's got no chance. So Bannister must have got a slowdown penalty because he's suddenly 3 seconds behind the battle for the lead.
We'll have to wait and see whether or not that particular tactic breaks up, because right now we have a Noah's Ark from 1st to 4th with the Flash cars leading 1st and 2nd and BlackArts Racing 3rd and 4th. So it's a team tactic battle here, as now Ibrahim and Alif challenging each other for the lead again, but this time Ibrahim holds on coming through the Molsand corner. Now then, pit stops along the way. These guys on medium tyres might be thinking to go a bit longer, while Bannister then suffering on the soft slightly, you might think, because he's now 3.8 seconds, made that 4 seconds soon by the time they come to Indianapolis.
Yeah, strange one that with Bannister. Yeah, I'm convinced it must be a slowdown penalty. But let's focus on this battle for the win. Ibrahim back at the front. Muhammad Alif there in 2nd position. Alif, you know, he's got the experience of having one race just now. And in that race, he would have understood where to overtake, where to conserve tyres. So maybe he has the advantage over Ibrahim at the moment.
Indeed, and he knows the slipstream politics. We can put it with politics in there because it is kind of like a chess match. They have to time their moves correctly. And it was at this very corner coming to Porsche curves was Alif making his move for the win. And he makes a move here right now to take the lead here in race 2 with just about 9 minutes left to go. In fact, 8.5 minutes left to go, and they're not pitting yet. So guess they're trying to go even longer on these tires so that they can actually go soft towards the end.
Well, let's see. We got, still got 18 minutes to go. So, and as I say that, in they come.
And will Bannister also follow suit? And also Perwin. Yep, there goes Bannister. Where's Perwin? I think Perwin's going to follow them as well because all 4 of them. Yep, there we go. Both teams thinking of the same thing, and Dominic Ang as well coming in. So, this will be interesting. Who's got the best in-lap to actually get out faster during the out-lap? Let's see. Battle of the pit crews yet again.
Oh, look at that. Nakib Aslan's done a good job to get up to, what's that, P7?
Yep, P7 right behind Josh Thomas. And Josh, well, we haven't really talked much about him this particular round. He was Mr. Consistent in the first few rounds, but then he just went off the boil slightly in the last couple of rounds. Hopefully he could try to actually score good results as well for the Safehouse team. As Alif now gets away. Where is Ibrahim in relation to him? Looks like it's a very good pit stop for both Flash cars, and they are on the same strategy, both on soft tires, as now the crews are making their pit stops. Both are coming out. There we go. Both BlackArts cars out of the pit, and I think that looks like one of the Safehouse cars. That looks like Miko, who hasn't made the pit stop yet.
Yeah, they're coming out. So Bannister in 3rd, Perwin in 4th, Miko Nasi in shot right now in 5th. Freddie Ang there in 6th, but he's Wow, he's I don't think he stopped, has he? Oh, no, he has stopped, hasn't he?
Yeah, they've all stopped actually. So no wonder Miko Nassi has not actually put... Okay, because Miko made that stop with Kalen earlier, remember? So they're one of the earlier stoppers. So Nassi has made his way up to 4th. Kalen, though, has not had a good run on these tires. In fact, he's still 12th despite having a pit stop. So he tried to undercut everybody. Has not worked out. He's still in 12th, 29 seconds behind the race leaders.
It was a very curious pit stop, a very curious strategy. See Kalen all the way back here. So that early pit stop, for whatever reason, did not work. But it worked for Miko Nassi because there he is in P4. But I wonder if he has the tires under him to be able to challenge with the cars around him.
Yeah, I'm not sure the mediums can go that long because they pitted around the 6-minute mark. So they're going to have to actually stretch these tires all the way to the end. And all the while then, Josh Bowen on soft tires. He has to make hay water sunshine here to get the most out of the grip in the initial parts. But he just can't get through. He's still right behind him. As we go back to the front, Alif has actually jumped Ibrahim by 1.2 seconds. This will be an interesting battle between the two teammates.
Yeah, there is Alif. There you can see Ibrahim just behind him, 1.2 seconds. That's within the slipstream. So Alif has not broken the slipstream. I think around here, really, you need to be over 2 seconds, really, to try and have any chance of breaking the slipstream of the car behind you.
1.2 seconds is actually still good enough to break the toe even, because look at that, Ibrahim's not getting any closer. He's losing 1,000 by every meter, so look at that.
That's true.
He's actually lost the slipstream here, so it's a chance for Alif to break the toe and make a beeline for it.
You're absolutely right. He's not closing the gap. 1.2 is not enough to get a proper slipstream. But is Ibrahim quick enough? That is the point, and I think Ibrahim is quick enough to close the gap to Alif.
But we have to remember, Alif was actually quite strong in the final sector, especially coming through the Porsche curves. He knew where to find that gap, and that's why he made that race-winning overtake. He was actually brave to hang it around the outside and was fast enough. And in qualifying, we saw it as well. It was coming out of Arnage and through the Porsche curves is where he's fastest. And let's see whether or not that pace that also comes true. You know what? Slightly true, but at the same time, because Ibrahim's also quite strong in this part. Still, though, the gap is just about floating in within 1.1 to 1.2 seconds.
Just starts, you're absolutely right. It's stuck at 1.2 seconds at the moment. So Alif, if he could just pull away, have a good forward chicane, good Tete Rouge, maybe he can even break the slipstream completely from Ibrahim. Look,
Yeah.
it's still 1.2.
Yeah, this is actually a rather slow burn-over race, we can safely say, because we saw last time out that battle for the win went all the way to the final lap. Meanwhile, further behind them, this is 3rd place Luke Bannister, running well so far, and let's hope he doesn't get any more bad luck here. 4th place Josh Bowen, he had a 3rd in that first race, but he'll be wishing that he'll be much closer to the flash car so that he can actually fight for the win and try to get a hold of that championship lead, which he had. Well, he hasn't led the season so far yet, has he? Because Bannister led before. So he's tied on points with Ibrahim right now. That will be the first time he's led the championship all season, but he knows full well that he will want to lead the championship outright by being in front of Ibrahim, which is not what he's doing right now.
Back at the front there, you can see the 2 flash cars. Yep, now Ibrahim's in the toe for sure. Look at it, he's in 3/10 behind his teammate now.
A bit of deja vu here for Ali, because in the previous race, he was the guy that was the hunter, not the huntee. Now Ibrahim will actually try to get his chance to actually get a win here after a disappointing DNS for the first time ever in his E1 championship career. They're going side by side here. We know that is a left-handed turn coming out to the second Mulsanne chicane. And he takes the lead quite serenely, cuts across, and they are going to continue to build that lead ahead of Luke Bannister, who's now 8 seconds behind. He's not really making use of those soft tires, isn't he?
Well, I guess they're working together now because they just overtake each other, not really fighting each other. So Alif's now coming back again. He'll get the toe. Oh, but he decides to stay there this time. Okay, so Alif's thinking about the end of the race as they come down now to the Mulsanne hairpin.
Multi-21, I would say?
Multi-21. Okay, let's go a bit further back to see how the others are doing. Freddie Young there in P6. There he is. He's having a good battle with Josh Thomas. Like I said, I haven't heard from Josh Thomas, but had a kind of a quiet day today, hasn't he?
Yeah, a bit incognito, but he did finish 11th in that first race, so he was in the points. Well, inevitably they are going to be the points because there's only 14 cars anyway. But a bit anonymous. He'll be probably wishing that he will maintain that consistency that he had from the first 3 runs of the season so that he could actually still be in the top 5 by the end of the season. He's fighting Freddie Yang right now. There's Freddie on the inset on the bottom right of the screen. You know what? Oh, that's Miko Nassi actually. But you know what? He is actually defending quite well. We've seen quite a few drivers, despite being chased, can actually hold off the toe.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite a good race by Freddie, but eventually, Josh Johnston got the inside of Arnage. It's not a... See, we talked about being clever about trying to overtake. That's not a clever place to overtake because it ruins your exit out of this long straight. It would be better to wait through Arnage and then take the slipstream out of Arnage and before Push goes, because now he has to defend from Freddie. Again, costing time for both drivers.
And it brings Riccardo Pacelli into the fray, because look at that. As you said, Alex, it wasn't a very clever move, you might say so, and it has brought another driver into play. So these three drivers, when they're battling each other, it might bring a fourth driver into play, because there's Nakib Aslan. So not a good way to actually battle and try to bring each other into play, as we're now unofficially, I think, on the final lap of the race, with Ibrahim setting yet another fastest lap to pull a gap on Alif, about 3 to 4 tenths just now when he crossed the line.
Yeah, that's right. So this could be a good four-way battle for the lead, not for the lead, sorry, for what was that? That would have been for P6. But this is the battle we want to focus on. And look at that, Ibrahim's doing all he can to try and push away. You're right, this is going to be the last lap. Now, Alif has the experience of the race before. Ibrahim does not have that experience. Will Ibrahim try and just run away, or is Alif just going to wait and just stalk his opponent?
Take two, everybody.
Take two.
Take two. So let's see whether or not Alif can actually try to do the same thing that he did to Nakib in that first race. All the while then, third and fourth. Will there be team orders in BlackArts as well, actually? Because championship points at stake here.
Oof. Good question. If I was BlackArts Racing, I would definitely be saying to Luke, can you let Josh through? He's fighting for the championship. For sure. Whether he does or not, is another thing. And look at that. Alif is just sitting there. Oh, Alif's playing the strategy game. Ibrahim, what does he do? Does he just kind of pull over to the side and try and let Alif overtake? He's had a good exit there, though.
Yeah. This is almost like the 2013 Malaysian Grand Prix, isn't it? When you have two teams battling for the first 4 positions on the grid. But we don't know who's going to win it and who's going to be in the most important championship positions. Because right now, at least, there's no team orders between these two. They're going to fight for it until the final corner.
Okay, Alif has to be careful though. He doesn't make a mistake and suddenly lose the slipstream, because he needs to be very close coming out of Arnage, because Arnage is going to be the key for him.
And the one thing that Alif doesn't want to do right now is to hit his teammate, and that would be disaster for Team Flash. It's going to be like Mercedes in 2016 at Barcelona, if that were to be the case. As they come out to Indianapolis now for the final time. Alif in the slipstream. Ibrahim watching brief here. He's not going to let his teammate pass that easily. This is going to be no team orders. It's going to be a no-holds-barred battle to the end. And we saw last time out in race 1. Alif overtook Nakib on the outside here. Will he try to plan the same move right here in race 2?
Well, this is the question. Is he close enough though? Did he get a good exit out of Arnage? I think Ibrahim got a really good exit out of Arnage. Oh, it's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough. Is he going to try to pull the same move here? Ibrahim is in the middle of the road. Oh, this is going to be very, very tense coming into the final sector. Ibrahim holds on to it. He's only got a 3/10 gap ahead as they come now through the final sector of the lap. Through the through the Porsche curves, coming out to the Porsche chicane. Is it going to be close? I don't think so. Ibrahim has actually got this in the bag. He managed to hold off the slipstream from Alif, and he will make up for what was a disastrous first race, unless something dramatic happens in the final corner. No, there won't be. It's going to be a 1-2 for Team Flash, and it's going to be Ibrahim who takes race 2 with Alif just a 10th behind. Yet another close finish in the E1 Championship at Le Mans here. Josh Berwick does overtake Luke Bannister for 3rd, and that would mean he will not lose points to Ibrahim that much in the championship stakes.
So Josh there takes 3rd. That's going to be a good weekend for him for the championship. Luke Bannister in 4th. Miko Nasi takes 5th, so that's been a good race for him. And look at that, Josh Thomas there in P6 with Nakib Aslan recovering to P7. Aaron Lim P8, Riccardo Pacelli in 9th, and Caden Chin in P10.
So the alternative strategy has not worked out for Kalen, but it worked for Miko Nasi. But that matters not to these guys, because up in front is Mohamed Ibrahim, and we, I think, have another word with him again.
Okay, Ibrahim, congratulations on the race win. I know you must be heartsick though after missing out on race 1.
Yeah, I'm honestly speaking really disappointed, because it's been done intentionally, because if I could do qualifying and I couldn't do race 1 and I could do race 2, somebody has banned me from race 1, basically.
Oh, so what are you saying? You're saying it's intentionally. Who's doing it intentionally?
I don't know. I mean, like it's quite weird, because I could do quali and I couldn't do race 1, but I could do race 2 with no changes. So that's the one which is really shocking me, basically.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, okay. All right then. Well, let's talk about race 2. You want to talk us through race 2? That was an exciting last lap.
Yeah, I mean, me and Ali were flat out. We were enjoying so much. We gave each other face space, and I'd like to thank Ali for that because we know we're great teammates at this point. Because we basically Ali started 10th and I started 14th, and we finished 1-2. So it shows how well we work together just now.
Did you guys have any team orders?
No team orders at all. We don't have an engineer, to be honest. We're just driving on our own.
Did you know that he was gonna get you, or did you think you actually had it? Because he was stalking you on those straights on the last lap. So we knew that he was biding his time for that last straight.
Yeah. I mean, no, it was free racing, but it was fair racing. So I'd like to thank Ali for that. And I mean, I was preparing for him to fly past. So but we just wanted to keep it safe and finish for 1-2 for Flash. So I'm really happy about that.
All right, well, very good comeback. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the unofficial results from another exciting race for race 2. So it is Mohammed Ibrahim in P1 for Team Flash. It's a Team Flash 1 and 2. They're going to love that. Orange up at the front. Alif Hamilton in P2. A P1 and a P2 at round 6. He's going to be very, very happy with that. Josh Perwin also going to be happy with that P3 because he knows that he's maximized the amount of points that he can get tonight, and that's probably going to propel him into P1 in the overall championship. Luke Bannister in P4, Miko Nasi in P5, Josh Thomas in P6, Nakib Aslan, a disappointing race 2 in P7, followed by Aaron Lim, Kalen Chin, Freddie Young, Ricardo Bocelli, Dominic Ang, Arif Azmi, and Daniel Martin rounding out the top 14. All right, we have more post-race analysis and interviews coming your way to unpack an exciting race 1 and race 2 and qualifying, and to talk about what we have going on next week. We'll see you right after this break.
When I switched to pro mileage, I got 47% of savings.
I paid 790 for it. Compared to any other insurer, the cheapest was 1,290. Pro mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper.
My Volvo XC40 1 year premium 6,000 over ringgit. Then I start taking pro mileage. I said, 3,200 plus ringgit.
Claim went through pretty fast. I got my car back pretty quickly as well.
Called them about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think within 1 hour it came.
Safehouse Racing Team have been one of the E1 Championship's day one racing teams.
It's been fascinating watching the journey of Safehouse.
Miko Nasi has also been with us since season 0.
Hi, I'm Miko Nasi from Safehouse.
Miko Nasi, we know, is a solid racer.
We know that he has the potential to win races, to do amazing overtakes, and really be the foundational pillar for the team.
This season so far has been a few highlights. Performance-wise or pace-wise, we've been up there. Round 1, I probably should have had much better results. Similar in round 2, I could have done that a little bit better, just with a little bit more room or a little bit more patience or a little bit more luck. We can't change the past, and we'll look forward to getting some wins to add on to the previous round.
But that driver 2 slot has always been subject to quite a bit of change.
I thought they'd selected well every time.
A lot of changes that affects the team dynamic with how they approach a race evening.
Alistair Young certainly knows his way around the racetrack. Owen Tarunya's going to be seriously quick, but neither was really able to garner the points.
They finally found a driver lineup that works.
Josh Thomas from Australia.
Hi, my name's Josh Thomas. I'm racing for Safehouse Sim Racing.
Unknown to us, we had no idea what his racing pedigree was.
My dad introduced me to motorsports when I was 6 or 7. From there, got into go-karting, and then once go-karting got a little bit too expensive, moved on to sim racing. I've won the Australian Mixed and Fixed GTE Racing League. I won one round of the Logitech G Challenge E-Series in 2019.
The Australian who's been putting in strong performances in his very first season.
So Joshua Thomas, didn't know him much before this, just put out an inquiry to the team about anyone that had some experience in the Dallara IR01.
I put my hand up, I was the first person to do it, and then I did a couple of little trial drives to see how it went.
That's how our relationship started with the racing team.
Josh Thomas of Safehouse Racing is one of the many Australian drivers that we have on the grid this season that made an entrance with a bang.
So far in E1, I think I've done okay. First 3 rounds were really good. Rounds 4 and 5, I got a bit unlucky, I think. Round 4 was me, and then round 5 I got hit a few times, but that's racing, I guess.
So I think Josh Thomas needs to just take a step back a bit, try and play it a bit safer in the races so he can finish first.
He's been great. Basically brings a professional attitude to the racing and really puts his mind to it. We've always been pretty closely matched in practice, just usually a tenth or two between us, so it's worked really well.
So far this season I've kept up. He's awesome, he's a really nice guy, good to learn off to, really experienced and just an all-round good dude, so he's been awesome.
They've been able to collect a very healthy points haul, which has allowed them to stay in that top 5 in the championship and always be there to really capitalize on various opportunities when they present themselves.
My goal for E1 this season, I'd love to get a win in one of the races. I'd like to be able to get potentially top 3, and team championship wise, top 3 is very doable for us.
I'm sure every team's goal is to win as many races, finish as high up as possible in the championship, basically. Do all that while having a fun time and respecting the competitors as well.
The Safehouse are kind of interesting because they started the year so strong and then they kind of went off the boil a bit, but then they're back and Safehouse looking strong. Where do they go from there? I don't know which Safehouse will turn up.
My predictions for Safehouse Racing is that they're going to maintain that front of the mid-pack position.
Nasi and Thomas, good for a top 5 finish.
Hello and welcome back to the E1 Championship Season 2. We're just wrapping up round 6 here, and all of the action has been brought to you by our sponsors, Evo Club Car Insurance with Pro Mileage. Make sure you check out their website to find out how you can save up to 40% off your next car insurance renewal. Now, just now we saw a bit on Safehouse Racing Team, which is of course being headed by Miko Nasi and Josh Thomas. We made some predictions there, Alex. I mean, how would you fare those? How do you think those predictions have fared? I mean, strengths, weaknesses so far, or just now in round 6?
It's a bit, sorry, I'm trying to choose my words carefully. When I first saw round 1, I thought they were going to be fighting for the championship. You know, they have a good driver lineup. They were really strong. They should have won race 2 in round 1. Kind of lost away a bit. A little bit like BlackWolf, but not like BlackWolf either. You know, I mean, we've seen Miko Nasi win a race, and when both drivers on song, you know, they're challenging for race wins. Their consistency is obviously not being there. If this was a different year, this would be a team that'd be fighting for the championship.
Well, let's go ahead and speak to Miko Nasi himself, who is fresh off the bat of being the overall round winner at round 5 2 weeks ago. Miko, walk us through your race 1 and race 2. Not quite the high you were wanting to continue from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, it should have been
fighting for the win in race 1, I think, and fighting for 3rd in race 2. But yeah, obviously it didn't end up that way. Race 1, mega start. I think I was up to P2, and then taking it fairly cautiously. Didn't mind Nakib getting through there. Then when Nakib got through, and I was hoping to get past Aaron, we were side by side into the beginning of the Porsche curves, and I think we were going too wide, and I heard my spotter say clear. I was still leaving about a car width on the inside, but unfortunately that still wasn't enough, and there was a little bit of contact that speared me off into the gravel, and then I topped that race off with a pit lane speeding penalty as well. But yeah, race two was nice start again. Unfortunately, we had contact with Luke at the start that dropped me back a tiny bit. Then I think I lost the race when Kalen had a really slow pit entry in front of me, and then I got to slow down myself on my second lap out of the pits, which dropped me out of contention for the battle with top 3.
Well, we know you guys have the ability to be up at the front. Of course, you are the winner of the round 5 kind of title per se. But coming into the last 2 rounds, once again, we have the usual E1 curveballs. We've got the Lotus 49s next week. How are you approaching that race weekend? I mean, do you think that that's a good round for you guys to collect some points or even potentially be up on the podium once again?
Yeah, hopefully next round will be good. We won't have to think about setup much, so we can focus 100% on driving, and hopefully we can get some laps in with Joshua and compare some data as well, and try to get as quick as possible before race day.
All right.
Okay.
Well, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
That's it. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, guys.
All right, we have time for one more interview, Alex. Let's go ahead and speak to Luke Bannister. He finished 9th in race 1 and had a much better race 2, finishing in P4.
Yeah. Hey, Luke. Just congrats on the race. I think you finished P4 in race 2. But first of all, we saw you in that battle with the 2 Team Flash cars, and then you dropped back quite suddenly right after the pit stops. What happened there?
That was in race 1. So we went to the pit entry, and I think Nakib came in very late, and then he braked. Was it Nakib or Kalen? I think it was Kalen. He came in very late and he braked early. I think I had to look at the replay and he was about 60 kilometers down on what other cars were doing at that point. So I hit the side of him a little bit, had to dodge him, went over the gravel and got a 40-second stop go. So had to serve a penalty basically.
But in race 2, when you were with the 2 Flash cars, it looked like you were going to go with them at the front, but then you dropped back. Was that just a pace issue?
Race 2 was I got to slow down on the exit of turn 3. Just tiny, like this much too wide, and have to give up a second and a half and lost the slipstream, so that was a bit disappointing. Yeah.
And then obviously letting your teammate through in the last lap.
At least you're honest about it. Well, good job, and we look forward to seeing you next week in the Lotus 49. I'm sure that's going to be really, really interesting. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
All right, let's go and take a look at the highlights from race 2.
So race 2 again, interesting start there. Cars going up to the side to side, and getting into the barrier. But a good start by Kalen Chin. He was leading nicely earlier on. But then you saw the 2 Flash cars get to the front. Josh Bowen here making a move on Dominic Ang. But it was too late really. The Flash cars were right at the front. And then we saw a great battle between Ibrahim and Alif. Really, really, really strong battle. Alif actually was shadowing Ibrahim on that last lap. Looked like the move to make it, but he wasn't able to quite get the move done into the Porsche curves like he did in the race 1. So 1-2 for Flash. Ibrahim taking the race win to try and make up for missing race 1.
And here are the results, the official results from race 2. Mohammed Ibrahim in P1 with his teammate in P2, and his number is in purple, 27 points, because he got the fastest lap, and he is going to need as many points as he can get, because I'm sure he's down on the overall championship points. And here we have it, the overall results from round 6. It is Alif Hamilton. He is back on top, our reigning E1 champion with 51 points. Josh Proin with 33. Mohammed Ibrahim still in the top 3 despite not being able to start in race 1. Nakib Aslan in P4 and Kalen Chin rounding out the top 5. Alright, so the championship fight is going to be extremely interesting, and that's going to be a lot of what we're going to talk about next week. But next week is also very exciting for another reason. That's because we're going to be racing in the Lotus 49, a classic type of Formula 1 car on one of the most historic tracks in the world, Monza in Italy. And to walk us through the intricacies of round 7, it's over to Amanda.
Next Wednesday, we'll be heading to the Temple of Speed, the Monza Combined Circuit in Italy. The track will be bringing back the high-speed and steeply banked oval, no doubt adding enormous stress on tires and suspensions. The length of the combined circuit is a total of 10 kilometers in comparison to the modern circuit's 5.79 kilometer track. The fastest lap on this circuit was set by Phil Hill in 1960 when he crossed the line at 2 minutes and 41.4 seconds. Now, with drivers having to use the Lotus 49, there's sure to be plenty of chaos and drama in our second last round of the season. Stay tuned and join us next week on round 7.
All right, so Monza is a track we all know. I think most people watching the show will know it as well. But the Lotus 49 is something that most people won't be familiar with.
Yeah.
It's a historic car. It kind of looks like a big go-kart.
It's a historic car. It's soft, no grip. So the guys are going to find it very challenging. It is an ex-Formula 1 car. That's why we're using it here in E1. And of course, it is a Monza combined. So it's that crazy track, the normal track, and then the oval thrown in as well. A bit like a figure of 8. It's going to be so much fun.
So it looks like a go-kart. It probably handles a bit like a go-kart. Do we think our karters, like Kalen Chin, will have an advantage?
I don't know. I think it's going to upset the order. I think we're going to see drivers who are not normally so quick in the IR01 doing very well here. And maybe some of the favorites maybe falling off the pace.
Well, there's only 2 rounds to go, and it's one of the last few curveballs we can throw their way. And I'm very excited for it. But before we move to round 7, let's take a look back at round 6 and where we are at the overall championship points now. So here we have it, the official overall championship standings after 6 rounds of racing. And I was wrong, it's still Mohammed Ibrahim in P1. Josh Perwin is only a few points behind. That gap has still maintained. Alif Hamilton gaining quite a few, being the overall round 6 winner. But we are really going to go down to the wire. Who is going to navigate the Lotus 49 best? Only 1 week away from finding out. It's Nakib Aslan in P4, Kalen Chin in P5, Miko Nasi in P6, Luke Bannister, Josh Thomas, Inigo Anton, and Dominic Ang in P10. Up next, we have the team standings. And no surprises there, it is Team Flash after their 1-2 performance in Race 2 with 411 points. They are miles ahead of P2, which is BlackArts Racing, followed by Safehouse, Stratos, and BlackWolf DRS Wave Racing in P5. All right, so 2 rounds to go. A lot of curveballs coming their way. Different cars, different tracks. We also have double points on offer for the last round. Championship's wide open.
Yeah, championship's wide open. But you got to feel that Josh Perwin got out of jail a little bit today. The pace wasn't really there for him. He needs to come back strong in the next race. You know, it's a completely different car. It's fixed setup. It's what crazy track to drive on as well. So Josh needs to be strong there.
Well, all of our drivers have exactly 1 week to prepare for this exciting track and exciting car. We will be back live at the normally scheduled time of 9 p.m. next Wednesday on the EGG Network. Don't forget to check out our website, EGG Network, as well as our Facebook page, the E1 Championship, to catch our live stream and stay up to date with the latest updates. My special thanks to the crew, Alex and Amo in the commentary box. It's all from him. It's all from us. We'll see you next week.